Hello. Trying something different. Well, not that different, but a little more different than what I've done before. A little something spicy, a little something different. Becoming a debate, bro. That's not really what this is for. For those of you that have no idea what's going on, like, I think a year ago at this point, I started doing this thing where I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna, like, set up a random Discord call and just have members of my audience call in. Like an old-fashioned radio show. Like, you know, back in the day where you had radio and people would call in and bring stuff bring stuff to the table to discuss. It could be about anything. I mean, of course the focus is TF2, but it can be about whatever you want. I've always been enamored by by that kind of cozy environment that a radio show provides. And now, of course, radio has been taken over by quote-unquote podcasting. So I figured, you know what? Let's try to keep the spirit alive, where there is no aim, there is no reason, there is no center focus of this, aside from, you know, TF2 being like the thing that all kind of loosely ties us together. And if you want to come in and talk about whatever you want, you want to come and scream at me, you want to come and just start counting to 10, then you can do that. You can come on in. Come say hi. You don't have to stick around for long. You can just come say hi. Or we can talk for as long as the conversation goes. Or as long as I'm willing to tolerate, because I want to get other people in, you know? So how this works is, in order for this to work, you have to join the Discord that is in the link in the description of the stream. Join that Discord. And right now what I have running is I have a stage. I have a stage running right now. Join that stage. And then I will turn on requests to speak. And I will start pulling people in chronological order. So I'll give people a few moments to hop in there. Give people a few moments to hop in there. And then I'll fire it up. But how's everyone doing? Everyone doing alright today? Hope everyone's doing good. Thursday. You're making it to the end of the week. Hope everyone's doing alright. People ask me for variety content. Like, oh, Zesty, when are you going to do something different? Oh, Zesty, when are you going to make videos about something else? This is my foray into doing something a little different. So for those who want it, here you go. And that's why it's also on my second channel, so people don't, like, get offended by, like, oh, what the fuck? What is Zesty doing now? No, it's here where anything goes. Anything is okay. All that jazz. Let me turn down the music just a smidge before we can start getting people in here. Not too low. I feel like that will suffice. Right there. Nice. Oh yeah. No anime review? I don't want to do anime reviews. I mean, it's not that I don't want to. It's like I've yet to find a way that I can make them interesting. For myself and for people who are watching. When can we expect the episode 2? Dude, like, this is... We haven't even done the first one. I'm not sure how often I'm gonna do these. At minimum, monthly. Like, this is not gonna be like a weekly or bi-weekly thing. It might be like... I might do this once a month. And keep it up with some kind of regularity. And of course, if someone just comes in and starts screaming slurs at the top of their lungs or just acts like an idiot, I mean, I'm gonna put you on the spot. I'm gonna grill the shit out of you. Because you are being a child. And then, of course, I will remove you and then move on. So, if you want to act like a moron, then be prepared to face the consequences. And no, this is meant to be about whatever you want. It doesn't have to be anything specific. We're just chilling. And I guess without further ado, let's see if this actually works. It kind of broke, but I didn't get all the windows right. Graphic design is my passion, by the way. Graphic design is my passion. I made this in 5 minutes because I needed like something. Like I didn't want just like my webcam being there with like nothing else going on. I needed something else happening. Graphic design is my passion. I threw it together in 5 minutes, and I just used an asset from my video of mine to have like a moving background. So this will have to do. This will have to do. Make that background of war paint with too many colors. Well, thankfully, Pamp already did that because this is actually Pamp's design that I'm still using as the background. I hope he doesn't mind. I hope he doesn't mind. If he does, well, sorry. Then I'll have to change it to something else. But for now, and I'll probably like try to get like a better logo. This is just text. I need like a better logo for this because this is garbage. Yeah, I need something that purely describes what this is going. I call it the pit because we already know it's going to be a shit show. It's just a dump where people just, it doesn't fucking, anything goes. You fall into the pit and you're a mess. This is how it's going to go. Use Frozen Aurora. No, I'm not going to do that. Well, okay, with enough people inside the Discord now and enough people inside of the thingy, I'm gonna turn on requests to speak, and I'm gonna count to 3, so everyone has like a chance. And again, I'm gonna do this in order, and also I'm going to avoid people that I've done this a few times before. I'm gonna avoid people that have been on here multiple times. I'm gonna try to bring more people in. So that's the plan. All right, so we have 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And the requests are coming in. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to limit people to 10 minutes. But of course, if the flow of conversation is interesting, then we'll go for longer. I don't want cookies. Email. Get out of here. Yeah, I have like an upper limit of 10 minutes, primarily because, you know, some people will just... Some people don't know when to be quiet, and some people also just can't speak, so I don't want to, like, you know, and also don't feel compelled to stay for the entire 10 minutes either. And we'll bring the first person in. Did this work? I'm going to see if it, like... I think it's going to shift the name over. Oh, it's off-center. Hold on, I have to fix this. So it shifts you there. Brings you here. Let me unmute myself in here. Also, I realized I did not give people permission to speak inside of this thing, so let me do that right now. Unless this person's just muted.
Hello, I just realized I was muted.
Okay, there you go. I was wondering why there was no voice coming through. Hello, how you doing?
Hello, I'm fine. How about you?
I am doing A-okay, man. Thank you for asking.
Well, yeah, it's fucking hot in here, so yeah, I'm fine, but physically, I'm melting inside.
Melting inside, not just outside?
Yeah, both. I don't know, my English is not my primary language, so if I say something that doesn't really make sense, you already know.
Well, there you go. Well, okay, what's going on, man? What do you got?
Well, I'm just was just finishing playing everyone's favorite first-person shooter, Team Fortress 2, and I was just notified that you're gonna stream, and I was just hopping in, just saying, I don't know, your streams are pretty good background stuff while you do other stuff like you work or something like that.
I've been told that many a time that it's decent. Like a lot of people do the whole stream as the background noise thing, so I get it. I understand. It's just good stuff to have going on in the back. I mean, some kind of minor distraction from what you're doing, or just noise.
Yeah, the brain needs to be stimulated anyway, because yeah, many people have music. Many people have Let's Plays.
Dude,
8 hour.
So, like, are you the type of person that will go back and watch the entirety of a VOD? Like a whole VOD of something, like 5.5 hour VOD from someone's stream, or do you just like hit on highlights and what have you?
Yeah, pretty much, but it really depends if it, of course, if it's something that I'm interested in, because I watch a lot of bind sauce bots.
Okay. So like, do you sit down and, like marathon the entire thing? Like
Pretty
you,
much.
you do? Oh my god. Okay, so like, cause I know some people, right? I know some people who are obsessed with like VTubers. I'm assuming are there any VTuber fans in the chat right now? I need to see
For sure.
because I know VTube like they're like a lot of VTubers fucking stream for hours, like 3, 4, 5, 6+ hours, and I have friends that will sit down and watch the entirety of the VOD. Not as background noise, but they will sit down and watch the entire stream, like as their entertainment. I don't get it,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, people have their tastes. I get it.
But
Personally,
it's
I'm
like
not the
6
biggest.
hours. That's so much. So
First of all,
long.
personally, first of all, personally, I'm not the biggest VTuber guy. I have watched like a couple, like Live Militias. She's fun, but I'm not the biggest VTuber guy at the end of the day, because I don't know. I have nothing against them, but just sometimes the designs of some VTubers are just have they have way going on.
See, like
And
for me, VTubers almost very often kind of tread into uncomfortable, uncanny territory where it's like it's kind of tricky for me to explain because it kind of breaks that boundary, or not it not breaks it, it muddies the boundary between like reality and fiction, where it's like, oh yeah, this is very clearly a fictional character on my screen right now, but it's being puppeted by a human, and it's this really kind of it's almost like this it's not insidious or sinister, but it's like this kind of border, it's just uncanny how people develop an attachment to something that is technically not real, even though it's being puppeted by a human being. And it's like I'm watching that, I'm like, this isn't real. It's like an act, right? Like if I'm watching like someone's face on a stream, or if I'm just hearing their voice, like I know that's them, right? They could still be putting on an act or something, but if they have like the additional layer of an avatar, I'm not saying all VTubers do this or have this sensation, but many that I've seen do, especially like the anime ones and what have you. That kind of is like, it's weird. And I can never sit down and watch them for long because it's like you get like the prickly sensation on the back of your neck, you know? Ugh.
yeah, stuff like I'm going. I'm behind your window or something.
I'm behind your window. The VTuber is here. They came to my house. Oh shit, that was fit. There's some rabid fans of VTubers, man. Have you seen this shit? Like I saw I don't keep up with anything at all related to VTubers or what have you, but like
Yeah, me neither. And I do not know of a lot of the VTuber fandom because I barely interact with the fandom or fandoms at all. I'm someone who doesn't really interact a lot in communities, because I personally I believe that that's the best way you can enjoy something, avoiding the fandom. You know.
no, yeah, yeah. And thing is for me, it's like there's always gonna be diehard fans, right? You're always gonna have super insane, rabid fans of something, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
I've
It
seen
happens with
VTuber
anything.
fans go to extreme lengths to do some crazy shit.
Yeah, just for them to acknowledge their existence, like, oh, he said my name, I'm fine.
But like it's that's kind of like my point, because like they've developed an attachment to someone that is not real, right? Like I understand like you have like a super fan of like a singer or an actress, you got like groupies and what have you. But when it comes to a VTuber, you've developed such a strong emotional attachment to nothing. It's not real. It's a drawing being moved around by someone with a web camera. To me, that's like another layer of like, like it just kind of creeps me out, is all.
Yeah, it's it can get even very unhealthy sometimes too, because people even can develop a dependency on that, say, character or personality or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And you just gotta like differentiate. You have to put a line between what's real and what's, part of an act, part of the character that the certain person is playing.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. You have to kind of I feel like a mentally healthy one, someone who's mentally healthy, can recognize and establish boundaries between, reality and fiction, and then more so to like to an additional extent, like boundaries between people that they do and do not know in person and what have you, right? Like the whole parasocial thing. But some people just don't have that. Like I've experienced this myself, where some people just don't have like that, not quite that filter, but like that limiting factor in their head, where they've been fed so much from one end, like from the streamer or the VTuber, that they just feel compelled, like, oh yeah, I'm their new friend, and then they go to like crazy lengths and like do like stalking and other whacked out shit.
Yeah, I need them to acknowledge me. I need them to say my name, or I don't get it personally.
I mean,
Again,
it does stem from a need for validation. Like, people enjoy being recognized, and for
yeah,
you know,
who doesn't?
for
That's
anything really, you
just
know. But
we want to be aware of each other. We want to interact, but again, it should remain like that. That simple interaction that you do with your audience, and the audience should mostly know that, you know.
no, yeah, and for me, the reason why I do this in particular is because I try to remind people that I'm just human. I'm not like this figure that should be put up on this pedestal, or like some fucking psychotic monster that some people paint me out to be. Like I'm just here. You can interact with me. You can say hi. I'm not like this amorphous force from which things just appear, right? Like I am tangible. So
Yeah, I have the same feeling. I don't really like to be put in a pedestal. I'm just a guy like you, or like him, or like she, or like, yeah, we're just people at the end of the day. And again, when something really bad happens, like for example, that same person, for example, gets canceled, they're like, "Oh no, why? What happened? Why did that happen?" It's just,
yeah.
dude, everyone makes mistakes. Like, what did you expect?
Well, I
That
mean,
guy is not the second coming of Christ.
well, I think people, it is crazy the level of expectation that is placed on someone once they become a public figure, because it's this projection of ideals that people place on celebrities, I guess you can call them, or just public figures, whatever you want to say, right? Where if they don't exactingly align with how they operate or what they believe, and then they kind of step out of that, then people get upset because, like, oh, this is the person that I like admire or look up to or enjoy what they do, but they don't agree with me on XYZ thing, and then people just, like, what did you expect? Do you expect this person that you've never met or spoken with before to agree with you on everything, you know? So,
Yeah, I'm pretty much okay with the idea that pe- people are just not perfect, you know? It's just
no.
that that they may, I don't know, that person might have some ideas referring about the LGBT community or whatever. I'm like, if
Not
they're
even just
transphobic,
that, but anything, right? Like anything in general.
yeah.
Like when it comes to even just the most basic of human things, like are you an asshole? Like if someone mouths off and says, "Oh, you're a fucking piece of shit," right? And then if someone gets
Or
mad at them, it's like, "Why are you so mean?" And they get canceled for being mean or what have you. It's like people have their bad days. People have their good
they
days.
have, oh, this guy likes raisins. Why people are making such a big deal about that?
I don't know. Again, I think it's because people feel compelled and expect people to behave and believe what they do. And if they don't, then they just kind of steps out of it. Okay, you got 15 seconds before we move on to the next guy. Final thoughts.
It was pretty cool talking with you, I guess. I wasn't expecting to be,
You were the first one in. What do you mean you weren't expecting to? You were the first one in. And I'm saying I'm going in chronological order. Come on.
I forgot about that, and I wasn't expecting because, you know, there's a lot of people trying to have their turn, you know? So
True.
I was expecting someone else, not
True.
me.
Well,
But,
hey,
anyways.
you're in. You got the ball rolling. You got the ice broken. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna let you go,
pretty
man.
much.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you.
And have a good day. Let me disconnect this guy. There we go. Awesome. Thank you, Bo, for getting the ball rolling. Yeah, it's called the pit because this could just be anything. You just dump. It's just a dump. You dump whatever the fuck you want into it. It doesn't matter. All right, bring in the next guy. Come on in. Hello, sir. Hello?
Hello, does the mic work?
It's very quiet. I need to turn you up.
Okay.
Here, speak again.
Yeah, okay, so first question that may annoy you.
That might annoy me? Oh boy, here we go.
When can we expect art of this being pregnant?
I will kill you with the nearest blunt object I have within range.
You shall kill me with holy fire.
I will. I have actually a very large metal water bottle right here, and if you were in this room with me, I would smack you upside the head with it. Next question.
Ah, perfect. What will be the worst thing that can happen to TF2's source code again?
The worst thing
Yeah.
that can happen to TF2's source code? I mean, like, the code itself, the code itself isn't going to change, and, I mean, if, like, the worst thing that could happen to the code is, I guess, like, another leak of whatever the current build is, but at the same time, we already have a build of the source code that cheaters use to develop cheats, so I really don't know what else could happen to the game's code, unless someone just, like, gets in there and sabotages it, but that's just not going to happen, so.
Yeah, that's fair. I actually didn't expect to get this far, to be honest.
You didn't expect to get this far? I didn't expect I was gonna make it this far, like that episode of SpongeBob, Plankton having no fucking idea what's going on.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nothing ever happens. Yeah, I mean, that is kind of true when it comes to TF2 anymore. It's just the same kind of vicious cycle with everything, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think TF2 today is that different from TF2 2 years. TF2 today is not that different from TF2 6 years ago. Like, the most recent major change was Jungle Inferno and then the Blue Moon update in 2018, and then we've just been in status quo since then, where it's just been nothing but holiday updates and the occasional minor bug fix, and then nothing else. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
it's a bummer. Hopefully one day it'll actually, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere anytime soon, if ever again. But oh well.
Quick question. Dragon Ball GT or Dragon Ball Super?
I have not watched either one. I only watched the original Dragon Ball and then Dragon Ball Z, and then I just stopped watching Dragon Ball in general. I never. It got to the point where, like, when I stopped being a kid, I didn't care to keep up with it anymore, and then it just got to be so much that when I kind of gained interest in Dragon Ball again, I go back, I'm like, whoa, what is all this? And I didn't feel strongly compelled to dive back in, so I stopped at Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, okay.
That's all I got.
So spoilers. If you do want to watch something, I will actually suggest watching GT first, and then Super, because both of them do get bad at certain points.
Like, what do you mean by bad?
Super just tends to mischaracterize a lot of the characters and all that jazz, while GT is just like, they try to make a reboot of sorts. Is a little messy, but
So it's bad. It's bad in terms of the writing, is what you're saying.
yeah, that.
Okay, well, it's kind of, and then it's like now now I'm like even less incentivized to go out of my way and watch these things. It's like, why? It's like you've set me up for disappointment. I don't want to go watch GT or Super now.
I mean, for GT, you can have Goku turn into a monkey man, or you can go watch Super and just have Goku turn into a Tumblr posting person and dye his hair blue.
Some people in chat are saying GT is based, so I don't know.
Yes, Goku turns into a monkey man.
Someone in chat. Who are these people he's talking to and why? Yeah, so for anyone who has no idea what the fuck is going on, let me just refill. For people who have no idea what's going on, something I do, and I've started doing, is I just host this kind of like radio talk show thing where anyone can just come in and talk about whatever the fuck they want. It doesn't matter what. It can be TF2 related. It can be just whatever you want to talk about. It's like kind of getting back to like the cozy, comfy radio thing. Instead of like setting up a guest and then having a podcast with a guest. This is just a free-for-all. Dial the 1-800 number, which is just jumping into a Discord soapbox thing, and then going from there. That's what this is. So it's just random people who are in this Discord, who are in my announcements Discord. And if you want to join and maybe have a chance, join the Discord in the description below, and you might be able to. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, it's
because
fine,
I forgot that we had already been going for a few minutes, and there's like more people here, so I have to like elaborate as to what the fuck is happening. Like, why is the TF2 guy not playing TF2? Where's the gameplay? And throws people off.
Yeah, Also, one last question before I just, you
Okay.
let everyone else go in. Have you seen the latest Hatsune Miku trend on Twitter?
The latest Hatsune Miku trend on Twitter. No, I have not seen it. What is it?
So on short, some guy just drew Hatsune Miku as some fucking creepypasta characters, and
Oh.
now everyone is drawing Hatsune Miku as pretty much any creepypasta or just creepy character under the sun.
I've never understood the fascination with creepypasta stuff. I never got it. I mean, I understand, like, enjoying scary stories, but then it feels like the whole creepypasta character thing is just like, I don't know, a bunch of horny teenagers looking to latch on to a big, scary figure. Because that's all I ever see about creepypastas is, like, they just hyper-sexualize these horrific things. That's all I know about it. Beyond, or like, it kind of like originated from like SC, or did SCP stem from that, or is it getting the other way around? I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
But if people like it, whatever. I just don't understand it.
yeah. But with Hatsune, it's like, oh, look, it's Hatsune, but it's Gyges from Earthbound, or is Andros from the original Star Fox games, for example. That's neat, actually. Like, oh, look, low poly Hatsune Miku, who hasn't done it before, but it's a little more unique, I guess.
Gotcha. Well, there you go. Creepypasta Hatsune Miku is the hottest trend on Twitter right now, for which I don't think I'll ever care. I don't know. Okay, so SCP is its own thing. Yeah, that's right. Slender Man was the first one, and when Slender Man was a thing, I was like, when did that game come out? I think I was already in college. I was in college. Hold on, I have to Google this on my phone now. Let me see. Micah, please let me type release date. No, not... What the fuck? No, Slenderman game, not whatever this weird court case is about the girl who murdered her friend. 2013, yeah, I was already in college, so I feel like I was already outside of the age bracket that would kind of care about that thing, so... Oh well. Anyways, closing thoughts before we move on.
I don't really have anything. Yeah, oh well.
Okay, well, thanks for popping in. Take care, man. And, see you around.
Yeah, have fun.
See ya. I never got creepypasta stuff, man. I really didn't. Are there any like, creepy character fans inside of the chat? Any like genuine creepy character fans who are into that sort of thing? Because like I only have like one kind of memory about it where I remember, because like when I was in college, so was my sister, and I remember going to her college campus one day, and I pulled up into a parking spot, and then I saw like a piece of notebook paper that someone taped onto like a trash bin, where it was like one of the little drawings that you find in the Slender Man game. Like even back then, it was like leaking out into reality. I don't know. When I was younger, not specifically, characters who are creepy can be good characters too. I don't disagree with that. So why didn't I collect his pages? I know that's like the purpose of the game, but I don't know. I also don't like going out of my way to intentionally be afraid. That's generally not something that I enjoy. I prefer being in a good mood and not at the edge of my seat shitting myself for fear of something coming to get me. I hate that. Not a fan. What about okay, so can someone define analog horror for me? I'm just gonna Google it, fuck it. Analog horror. I've never gotten like a consistent definition. Analog horror is commonly characterized by low-fidelity graphics, cryptic messages, and visual styles reminiscent of the late 20th century television and analog recordings. This is done to match the setting, as analog horror works are typically set somewhere between the 1960s and 1990s. Do we have any examples of this? Examples. Bunch of stuff I've never heard about except the Mandela catalog. Interesting. Mario 64. Mario 64 is an example of analog horror. Oh, Jesus. So like just creepy videos in via analog. Okay. Well, let's bring in the next person.
Hello, hello. I'm a little sick.
Oh
but,
no.
Hello.
But so I feel you there. I'm actually running a low grade fever today. I have no idea. I feel fine otherwise, but I have a fucking fever. I woke up with it this morning. I'm like, well, guess that's my day.
Yes, it is, and that is for you and only you to deal with.
Yes. How's it going, man? Aside from the illness.
I'm doing pretty good. I don't know if you remember me or not. I remember you sending me a birthday video. Yeah.
That's right.
Like
I did
years
do that
ago.
for you.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm here now, and I have a little list of questions that I've gained from being here and stalking you throughout these other like betas.
Okay.
And first one I will go through, and I'll make this quick.
All right.
What were your New Year's resolution? I'm not sure if you said it on stream at one time or another, but did you have one?
I don't. Did I have a New Year's resolution? Not really. Well, I guess my main resolution is I want to get my cardiovascular level of fitness back to where it was a couple years ago. Because I had a pretty bad blowout on my knee, and it kind of put me out of commission for almost 10 months, where I just could not. I could barely walk. So
Oh boy.
that's my goal, is to get my mile time back underneath 5 minutes instead of where it is right now, which is like 6.5, which is really bad. So, yeah.
Okay, next question. What were your more enjoyable videos to make?
Oh shit.
Can I extend upon this?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy editing essay style videos, or the more unscripted content you make that resonates with your audience and paints a nice picture of a more experienced background of knowledge and compass that I would like to see in more places than just TF2? But I think in the headspace that I made that in is that I think that your overall knowledge and what's it called? Well, hold on, I'm spreading
just
on being
background.
autistic.
Background.
Yes, your background, like, I want to hear more of that in just outside places of just TF2.
Okay.
Like, I know you brought up the topic of anime reviews and stuff like that, like stuff that you enjoy personally.
Yeah.
Because I think you're a very interesting figure with all this knowledge and stuff like that, and I feel like definitely like anime reviews. I know you can't really find a way to make that interesting.
Not yet.
But I feel like,
not to say that I can't, but I haven't found a way yet that is entertaining for me.
and let's dive it back a little, because I went like into a totally different
No,
question.
yeah, you bring up a good point. Is, I mean, the main reason why I make videos is because it's like a hobby of mine, and I enjoy making the video, and then I enjoy putting it out there. I enjoy all the conversations that end up surrounding the video. It's the whole process, kit and caboodle, that I take enjoyment in. But like when it comes to the specific videos, the ones that I have the most enjoyment making are the ones that are way more heavily edited and scripted. Like my one-off commentaries where there's just very minimal editing. I
personally enjoy those.
I
don't
have
know
fun with those
if that's
too.
anyone else is like a fan of that sort of content. It's just a very like raw, very like characteristic, and there's not really any like, because I really don't like the what's it called, over perfection there is in the internet.
Oh
where
yeah,
people need to be like over refined and be overly edited. It just comes off as sort of like soulless. And those sort of
I
one-off
completely agree.
commentaries,
Yeah, I completely agree.
I really like. I can feel,
No, yeah, I completely agree. There is, I'm trying to kind of get to a better middle ground where it's more of myself coming through with my writing, rather than just being a very methodical, factual, heavily tailored list of statements, right? And a lot of my older videos were very much like that, where I had a very robotic readings of my scripts, and it wasn't just, it wasn't natural, right?
Yes.
And I'm working on getting a better middle ground, but yeah, but I do completely agree on the notion that it's not really an expectation. It just seems like that's what works right now with like gaining success on YouTube, is the overly edited and overly perfected style of video, where it is robotic and it's like either a faux personality or no strong uniqueness of character comes through with the narrator or the person whose channel it is, right? And I feel like that, not in all cases, but in some cases, it's for it's kind of a cop-out where they're not able to be entertaining on their own, so
Exactly.
they have to go the extra mile and like lace in jokes or do insane editing or what have you.
Exactly.
Yeah, someone said it in chat, like, people aren't authentic. People don't feel authentic anymore. Like, people don't let themselves come through, but also because that's not really what works anymore.
Exactly.
Right? Like, it's like people being themselves is no longer acceptable these days unless you fall into a very specific lane, right? And otherwise you have to like maintain a certain level of like expected decorum and like stay in your own lane with like whatever you're talking about,
there,
right?
And it sucks, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I mean, like, for example, like I'll talk about my friend Richter Overtime. He's very talented with his editing. He's very knowledgeable about Gary's Mod, but when it comes to his videos, very little of his actual personality kind of bleeds through into it, which is way more energetic and kind of off the wall than what you get in his content. And I think if he kind of laced more of himself into his videos, then they would be just that much more entertaining, right? But at the same time, he's already built up a platform of
video essays win.
Yeah, he's kind of he's kind of already built up a platform where people just kind of already expect that style of video from him, right? But I don't know. I think more people could get away with putting more of themselves into it. Not to say that they don't, but it's not authentic. It's hard to describe. But yeah.
Okay. Do I have any more questions? Is it possible if you make more wishlist videos for event-related updates in the future, or do you think that will just fade out in time?
I want to keep doing that because, well, for two reasons. One, it's fun because I like hypothesizing what we could get in the game, and it also kind of, because for a while when I started doing like the whole, you know, people called it my war against the workshop and whatever. People were very much complaining about me saying, oh, this is inappropriate, without giving examples of what is appropriate. And I feel like those videos show more examples of at least what I think is appropriate for TF2.
Exactly.
But also at the same time, they're fun because, again, it's fun hypothesizing like, oh yeah, I'd like to see this. I'd like to see this. You know, I let a little bit more of my own personal tastes kind of bleed into that. And people like them. And also at the same time, and it's not my intention when this happens, but it seems like there, at least for the past few, there has been a correlation with the video I upload and the items that get in. Like, the first time I did it, I got, I'm not saying that I got it, but 3 of the items that I spoke about got in the game, and then for the previous Smithmas, it kind of happened again, where a few of my suggestions also got in the game, where I think I'm helping people see better items than that they otherwise would normally see. You know? Yeah, putting a healthier spotlight on it instead of like instead of like just, say instead of like
that you were like that. But I definitely feel your need to like show what is appropriate, because if you're not hard on it, then these sort of things will just slide by and will continue being the norm. But your whole stick is to genuinely just stick the nose where it needs to be.
Well, not so much like, I guess perhaps not with such an aggressive gesture of like, stick your fucking nose in it, you know, but like show people, hey, this is what maybe like I think this is what TF2 should point towards, and not what, you know, and not this, what's the word I'm looking for, not this deconstruction of the game to fit item creators' personal beliefs of what they think is appropriate for the game, right? It should be the other way around, where they tailor their work to the game and not have the game change to meet what they think is appropriate. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last question, and it is a joke question.
Okay.
Because I don't want to take too much time.
All right.
How do you cope with loving taller women but being over 6 feet tall?
I just deal with it. I don't. There is no coping mechanism, because
really
there's nothing I can do. What do? I just sit here and suffer in silence because there are no women taller than me. They don't live near me. I haven't found any yet. Just
saw off Zesty's legs.
I guess my cope is dating shorter women, because that's all I can do. That's all I can do. Oh shit. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
And let's get the next person rolling.
Hell yeah.
It was great talking to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for popping in, man. Take care.
You too.
Nice guy. Someone says, does height matter so much? For a lot of people, it does. You'd be surprised. So, for me, it's a bit of a joke that I put a bit more emphasis on, like, oh yeah, I love big ladies, I love tall chicks, but at the same time, it's not like a make or break thing. Like, I'm not gonna not date you, if you're not, like, if you're not taller than me, right? Because I'm 6'7". Obviously, I'm not gonna find a woman that I find attractive in the physical sense, and who's also taller than me, and who also operates on as many wavelengths as, or similar wavelengths to me, that I would, like, want to date, right? So, it's not a realistic expectation, but it would be nice, but it's not real. So, yeah. Hit me up, I'm a 7-foot MILF. I don't know how I feel about, I don't know. It's also like not quite another make or break deal, where if you already have kids, it's not exactly a deal breaker for me, but it's definitely kind of not what I'm going for when it comes to dating someone. You know? For me, I would prefer someone who hasn't had kids yet, but now that I'm getting older, that's becoming a less and less realistic expectation as well. So I may have to, you know, compromise. Anyway, next person. Come on in. Uncle Metallic. Uncle Metallic, you're on call! Come on in. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. What's going on, man?
So I'm second, please.
Your mic is really shitting itself. I didn't hear a single thing you said.
Oh, sorry. This thing totally works. So, but you can hear me clear, yes?
Yeah, keep going.
So what I wanted to say, yes, I sent you the German rant.
Oh, right, yeah.
But I had a question about Valve's relationship with murders.
Say that again?
I had a question about your opinion on the Valve's relationship with murders.
Oh, a relationship with a mother. Okay, go ahead.
I remember reading a thread from one person on Twitter with experience in modding. He talked about how the relationship between both and people making mods was ruined
mods.
by
Okay, hold on.
modders themselves.
Hold on. Okay, so hold on. Start over. Say your question one more time, because I misheard you. Say it one more time.
What does your I wanted to know your opinion about relationship between both Valve and modders.
Between what and mod, or Valve and modders? Okay, there we go. Sorry,
Yes.
I'm like people in my chat are picking up on it more. Thank you. I'm sorry, language barrier, language barriers and accents. It's always a fucking nightmare. So
Yes.
anyways, we got there in the end. Okay, so
Sorry.
no, it's not your fault. It's okay. It's my own fault because I can't fucking hear. But so Valve,
Understand.
yeah, so Valve and modders. I guess you mean like in terms of present day, given recent happenings with Valve shutting down like projects and what have you.
Not only this, but leaked codes with Half-Life 2 beta stuff, and pretty much there's opinion that it was fans who ruined this all with leaked TF2 code, like it was.
Yeah, it's rumored that
And,
Valve fans are, I guess in a more general sense, can cause more harm than good given their activities with modding and getting their hands on the source code and what have you. Yeah. So I think Valve, I mean, given the amount of shit that we keep giving Valve, I think they do a pretty good job when it comes to handling let's say, the more enthusiastic fans of their work and keeping them at arm's length and not encouraging really crazy shit like really wild speculation or kind of leaning into that or what have you. I think Valve's no talk policy is, I think, a good thing. And I know a lot of people don't agree with that. I know people want more communication from Valve, and I know I've said in the past that that we should have more communication from Valve. But when it comes to what they're working on, as in terms of like their new games or new products or what have you, it is good to not instill an expectation in people. In other words, give people a motivation to kind of go out of their way and do crazy shit when it comes to their work and what have you. But going back to modders and what have you, I think Valve working with modders before, you know, like people making fan games or fan mods and things like that, and them reaching out and, like, in some cases offering them jobs or helping them create tools so they can keep their projects going. I wish they would still do that. It's a shame that they don't. It's a shame that it seems like Valve's direction has been more towards, I don't know, I guess hardware and less on game creation. I mean, the most impactful thing they've put out is Half-Life Alyx, right? And then CS2. And it doesn't really seem like they're really gung-ho on expanding much, right? And I don't know, I'm not really sure where I'm going with this. But in recent years, there were like Valve's relationship with modders and like the actions people have done, like for example, you know, the leaking of the TF2 source code by people within the TF2 sphere. That did actually happen. It's not a rumor. That obviously hurts modders and fans' relationship with Valve, right? And makes them less trusting of people from outside of their company. So, yeah. I'm not sure what else to say on this.
If I remember correctly, the TF2 code was leaked by the person who founded the TF2 Classic project.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly. I don't remember exactly who was the one that leaked the source code. I know he was involved with some kind of community project, but I don't remember which one exactly. I'd have to do some fact checking to like double check these things, but I'm not sure.
It was some kind of a person named Daniel, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that name does ring a bell, and it was like, it was a Daniel of TF2 Classic. Someone is saying in chat, so perhaps that is actually perhaps that is actually the person, but I don't remember exactly.
There was I remember there was even his max shot.
Oh yeah, he got arrested for something unrelated. I do know that the guy who leaked TF2 source code did get arrested for something. I think it was something involving his girlfriend, either threatening her or assaulting her, something to that effect. But was the leaker based? No, I would consider him not based because apparently he had some serious mental issues and it caused irreparable damage between the players and Valve. So, thanks, asshole. You leaked the source code and let cheaters. You basically did the work for cheaters for them, which is fantastic. Thanks. So yeah,
I don't think it's interesting to see relationships. Oh god, I hate English language.
I'm sorry. I know our language sucks. It's such a bitch. I know for a fact that English is a bitch to learn, and it's a bitch to speak for non-English speakers, because we have rules, and then exceptions to rules, and then exceptions to the exceptions. Yeah, I don't blame you.
Russian is much worse.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So it's actually interesting to talk about relationships between modders and companies, because it's generally event that companies and modders became hostile to each other with all ages. Like, I remember Rockstar and fans we pretty much became hostile to each other because over the hot coffee.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and that hostility comes from the fact that the companies want to monetize any and all experiences with their game. Like, if someone goes out of their way to do, like, a fan project that gets popular, they want their piece of the pie. They're not just going to let them keep doing it, right? Nintendo, of course, is another example. Nintendo is notorious for hating their players and hating their consumers. And they shut down fan projects, they shut down mods. They have none of it, even if it's not actually hurting their bottom line, right? And it ultimately just boils down to companies saying, no, we want our money going through your work, and they just, squish it like a bug under their thumb, which is awful. It's actually kind of in comparison to Valve, right? In comparison to like what Valve's done in the past, Valve reached out and said, hey, you can come work for us now, or we'll take your project and put it on Steam, right? But other companies just go, ha, no, and just squish them. So yeah, the relationship between developers and modders is very hostile, especially in recent years.
But I also want to talk about, if I remember correctly, there was a situation when TF2 could fall not into Valve's hands, but Activision's one. It was talk about TFC or TF1.
So wait, there was a moment in the past where Team Fortress could have fallen into Activision's hands?
Yeah.
Was this a real thing? Like, this was something that Valve was considering?
No, it was somewhere in the beginning of 21st century, if I remember correctly. And Valve just came in, took the modders, and said...
Oh, it's the modders who did Team Fortress.
Lucky modders, they fall up into Valve's team, but they could have fallen to Activision.
Oh, I see. But instead they went to Valve.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Interesting. Yeah, that would have been a very bizarre alternate timeline if Activision took control of a Team Fortress-esque game. So, yeah.
I think what will be ironic is the fact that it will get an Activision, which later will merge with Blizzard.
Say that again?
I think what it makes it ironic is the fact that Activision later merged with Blizzard, and if TF2 did fall into Activision's hands.
Yeah, that would be... Oh, Jesus. Very strange. Oh, God. Kind of glad... Yeah, kind of glad that it didn't happen. Ooh. All right, man, your time's up. I'm going to let you go. Okay. And we're going to move on to the next guy.
Okay, bye.
All right, take care, man.
Good luck.
See ya. Nice guy. Fucking hell. Like, could you imagine? Like, there's always this kind of point of contention with people, and I see the suggestion kind of thrown out there every now and again, where people say, hey, why don't we hand TF2 off to another developer, or why don't we give it to someone else, right? And I personally don't think that's a good idea, because unless they're told to strictly maintain TF2 for what it is, I feel like if it was handed off to someone else and they were just given free reign to do whatever they want, there's a very high chance that it would quickly deviate away from the game we all know and love and turn into something kids enjoy, right? Because that's the major market, are the youngins. So, I don't think it's a good idea, personally. So, am I going to play Final Fantasy? I've never played a single Final Fantasy game. I have no interest in touching Final Fantasy. Like, ever. Okay, give me a moment. I have to quickly use the restroom, and I will be right back. You know what's funny? You know what's funny about this? And I had the thought. I had the thought as I was taking a leak. I had this thought, right? Where this is now, I think this is the 4th or 5th time that I've done this now, where I have people on my stream calling in at random, and I've yet to have someone act out of line or act like a piece of shit. Like, there's, like, everyone coming in has been nothing but cordial and nice, and I want to thank you guys for that, because it's like, the first time I did this, I was expecting the worst. Like, I was expecting people just to fucking go berserk and argue. Not to say it's not to say it's inevitable, right? Someone's gonna come in here and just go hog wild, but thus far, with all the people we've had, y'all are chill. Y'all are chill, and I appreciate it. Unusual activity discovered in my Discord. Huh? Well, I don't get it, but back to it. Get rid of that. Anywho, let's bring in the next person. Bring in Suspicious Beggar.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Howdy, man. What's going on?
Honestly, I'm doing pretty good today, minus one thing.
What's going on? What's the one thing?
Spec Ops The Line, it got delisted today, and I am pissed about that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm trying to be a video game, right? Or video game developer.
Yeah.
And it's just, I just realized, yeah, either way. I've been trying to be a game developer for a long time, and just, that was one of the games that inspired me to even get into this to begin with. And it's just such a shame to see it go away like that.
Well, I mean, so what was the game again?
Spec Ops The Line.
Spec Ops The Line. Was it ever released on hard copy, or was it a purely digital game?
It was on hard copy, and it was on Steam for a long, long time, but I think just today it was taken down.
Really? So was this?
Yeah,
I'm assuming this was a decision by the developers to get rid of it.
Yep, it was by 2K of all people.
Really?
Which I guess kind of makes sense, but it was due to licensing or some shit.
Oh, that's fucking unfortunate.
Yeah, the white phosphorus.
Do you still have a physical copy?
Oh yeah, thank fucking God I do. But it's
Oh,
also
good.
my Steam library. But either way, it's just there's a lot of people who haven't played that game that I feel like really need to, because it kind of just shows that the art form of video games really could. It could just be so much more than what it is, but they just refuse to go there.
Especially nowadays, anyways, right? Back in the day,
yeah.
when you had to kind of... How old is this game, by the way? I'm not familiar with this game.
Oh, this was like way back when it was right after Call of Duty Modern Warfare, when it started getting all those clones.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah, because, back in the day when games had to be a full and complete product before the widespread accessibility to high-speed internet, you had to make the game look and play good in the simplest way, right? And simply put, right? If the game looked like shit and felt like shit to play, what incentive would someone have to engage with your game, especially if it was just another one on the pile of, like, for example, Call of Duty clones, right? And nowadays, it's so easy for people to access new games, where all you have to do is start up your free-to-play trial, install it in 6 minutes, play it for 20, realize it sucks, and then dump it, right? Companies nowadays have a way smaller incentive to put a lot of time and polish into their product, or even finish it, because they can release now, fix later, and then, try to build steam without putting out a complete and well thought out product, which is fucking unfortunate, right?
Oh, it really is. Like, it's such a fucking tragedy. And I think that also kind of goes into what you guys were talking about before with handing TF2 off. That's never going to happen. If it did, that would also just be a complete tragedy. But
I agree.
There's also some... Yeah, oh, sorry.
No, I just say I agree. Go on.
Yeah. So another issue that I was thinking about was that way back in the day, there were all these games that were just like trying to kill TF2 or be the next TF2.
Yeah.
And that's just never going to happen either. Just because like the priorities have shifted so hard.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like, you could very, very much, like we're seeing this with Pal World right now, right? Where you can very easily take heavy inspiration from an existing game and make a real true competitor, right? But it's like you said, right now, especially nowadays, there's no incentive to really do that. No one needs to do it, especially not for TF2, because it kind of feels like the era of the hero shooter is dying, right? Because it's just, we haven't really seen anything stand toe to toe with TF2, and then dare I say, even Overwatch 1 in the earlier days before things started kind of going to shit. Like I will say, aside from its stylistic direction with Overwatch, it is a good game, right? There was a lot of smart decisions that went into making it. It played decently well, and it was, thought out, right? But then they just kind of shot themselves in both feet by trying to overly tailor the experience too often, and other things, of course. But aside from those two, nothing else has really kind of busted into the quote-unquote hero shooter scene and stood toe-to-toe with these guys,
Right. I mean, Paladins got close, I think, but
yeah,
it never got there. I mean, Overwatch 1 at launch, that was actually really fun. That's why all those TF2 YouTubers were leaving, because it was the brand new next level thing.
Yeah, it was the greener pasture for multiple reasons, right? Because at the time, TF2 was shambling through its Meet Your Match update, where the game was barely functional for half a year, and that was right around when Overwatch left its beta and actually was like fully released, I think.
Yeah, it was.
And so, of course, you had people jumping ship for the new and functioning game, but also you had like the biggest names leaving, like in YouTubing, for example, because it was the new greener pasture, and like you can't blame them for doing that, right?
No, not at all. I mean, especially with Musel, he had the right idea.
Oh, of course, absolutely, and even people like Star had the right idea. It's like, fuck it, TF2's not going anywhere. Why am I sticking around with this? I'm gonna go do the new thing and have fun doing this for a while, and that they did, right?
Yeah, they definitely did.
Yeah, and there was something else I was going to say. Shit. Oh yeah, and of course, competitive players did this too, because TF2's competitive scene was never, it never had any official support from Valve. It had ultimately no money in it, right? It's like I think the biggest grand prize a TF2 competitive tournament ever saw was like 50,000, and then you split that between 6 players, something like that. Whereas Blizzard was pumping money into their competitive leagues, and the incentive to go play there was way better because you got a much bigger paycheck. So
yeah, that makes plenty of sense. It's not like Valve couldn't do it. It's just at that rate, it wasn't even worth it.
No, absolutely.
This competitive just flopped so hard.
Oh god, it makes me curious. It makes me curious if it had taken off, right? Would we be having Valve supported competitive tournaments?
Oh, you bet. Honestly, in my personal opinion, if it did take off like that, we would actually see more content as well. Because I feel like that was sort of Valve's way to just kind of like poke at how much value TF2 is really worth to them. That's what I personally think.
Oh, for sure. But the thing is, they fucked it up so bad, right? Like if the update was good and the update was functional and everything worked perfectly to the T, but all the same decisions were there with the structuring of matchmaking and in terms of the rules, right? Or sorry, with competitive rather, not matchmaking, but with the rules, right? Still 6v6, but no class limits, different map rotation, and no weapon bans, right? Like, could that have taken off and been successful? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so, because I don't think TF2 is a 6v6 game. It just isn't built for that at all. It's 12v12 and higher.
No, I also completely agree, because that was the intentional design for the game, was to be the kind of more laid-back, free-for-all, dive in and leave whenever you want and do whatever you want kind of thing. And this is something that I'm still trying to find the best way to deliver in the clearest sense possible. But when it comes to 6v6, because the community established how competitive should be and not Valve, there's a huge disconnect in terms of what the rules should be, and also who controls how competitive operates between the players and Valve, right? Whereas something like CSGO, whereas something like Overwatch, all the rules are largely, in terms of balancing, right? Mostly balancing, are controlled by the developer. Whereas for TF2, it's not. All the rules and balancing for those competitive modes are controlled by the players, and when Valve didn't stick to those, then it was an even greater schism, and that's why that competitive mode was dead instantly.
Oh yeah. But honestly, I'm of the opinion that if they didn't get rid of anything, did not rebalance anything, I feel like it would have just gone leagues better with that because
Oh yeah.
one of the main issues with Overwatch 1 especially was that they just kept trying to re-evolve the meta over and over and over again, and
Yep. Yep.
people lost interest because frankly it sucks to play a game where the meta changes like every month or maybe every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and you have to relearn everything and get good, bad grammar, but get good at stuff again, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and like,
Because
go ahead.
oh yeah, no, it's because I see it in other games too, like Dead by Daylight as well. That game's a absolute clusterfuck
Yeah,
because
yeah.
no one's having fun. Nobody wants to read pages of patch notes every every fucking week, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And
I just want to play my video game, dude.
no, I know, right? And there is something to be said about like kind of maintaining a good balance between keeping a game fresh, but then changing it too much. And mostly, in my opinion, TF2's done a pretty good job with that. Whereas in terms of the balancing, there haven't been a lot of massive overhauls that frequently. Like, there have been a few, but not like it's not a super frequent thing. Some good, some bad. But another game,
I like that about the game.
Yeah, but then another game that handles balancing really well is CS:GO, where they rarely get a tweak to how any of their guns work, let alone any new guns. Like the most recent, what was the most recent new gun was the R8, right?
Oh,
and that was
a new gun? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they added that back in 2015, 16, whenever the revolver case came out. I think it was 2016, right? That was a new gun,
old.
right? And then then I think the most that's my timer going off, but I'm having fun. We can keep going.
Oh, sweet. Okay. I'm cool for it.
Yeah, but fucking 2018, thank you. Oh, right, MP5. That was another one. The MP5 was also added. Yes, that was the last new one. My bad.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm not but still, that's only 2 new weapons added in, within the past 5-6 years, which is nuts. But also a good thing.
I didn't even know. Yeah. That's the funny thing. I don't play Counter-Strike enough to even know. And
I dabble.
I've never heard a peep about the balancing in that game.
Yeah. So I dabble, but I'm not like I suck at the game, and I never intend on putting in the time to get good. But it's a good thing that they don't have these constant reworks of guns and changing the balancing and adding new guns and what have you, right? It's wonderfully consistent, but they do tweak things every so often. That's like when they do, it's way more impactful, right? Like they nerfed the SSG, which is the auto sniper. They made that weapon less good, which used to be the meta, and then they buffed the the silenced MP, the MP4 1S, whichever the silenced one is.
I don't remember which one that was.
Yeah, but they buffed that. Yeah, no, the S or not the. Hold on, now I have to like remind myself.
I mean, Google's right there. We can just take a look at that.
I have to remind myself. Was it the AUG that I'm thinking of?
Oh, Op.
No, the AUG is the big sniper. No, it's the AUG I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
They nerfed the. Was it the AUG? No, I'm thinking right. It's the SSG. Yeah, I'm remembering it. Hold on. What's the fucking?
Okay.
Fuck me. CS:GO stash. I have to like look at a skin to remind myself.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Because
dude.
I'm stupid. Let me pull up my stuff here. Rifles. Fucking. Sorry, the SG, rather, not the SSG. Was this automatic or not? I don't know. But anyways, like the SG used to be the fucking. It used to be like the best pick, and they nerfed that, and then they buffed the M4A1S. And there was another. No, sorry. It was. They also they nerfed the SG. They buffed the M41S, and they nerfed the M4. Or am I getting it backwards between the M4 and the what have you? Hold on. Either way, I'm fucking it up. But my point is that balance changes are very, very infrequent, which is a good thing, right? Because people get good at like the specific things, and whenever they establish a new change or a tweak, it's this monumental thing of like, whoa, it completely changes the meta, but it's such a small little thing. And when you drip feed little changes like that, when your game's already good, that's like the good balance to have, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, if, like, let's say, for instance, like a small 7% buff or nerf completely changes it, then you've done an excellent job balancing, because...
Oh, yeah, and that's what these changes were. They were very, very small tweaks.
Yeah, so it doesn't feel like a major change, but when you actually start playing, it does.
Yeah. So
oh yeah,
that's to me is like the nice middle ground, and it's a shame that Overwatch committed a not so graceful suicide via all these changes, which is a fucking shame because it could have. Yeah. I don't know. Like Overwatch was, was shiny. It had, again, the visual. Like the main deterrent for me for not sticking around with Overwatch is that everything felt kind of floaty, like you're playing inside of like a pool of overly saturated molasses. But
I can see that.
but it was still fun. Like the mechanics were fun and the maps were interesting and the characters are cool. Tracer's ass got nerfed, which is a shame. But
Oh yeah,
it was still
just honestly, rip.
I mean, but it was still it still was a fun game, right? But then they leaned too hard into like overly tailoring the competitive experience, and then oh well.
Yeah, and now the porn is carrying it more than anything else.
Oh my god, there's so much. Jesus, it's scary. It's insane.
There's a whole ocean out there.
There's like petabytes of it at this stage.
I know. We're gonna humanity's gonna end, right? And all we're gonna have left is just this ocean of fucking Overwatch porn.
You know what's gonna be funny is like somewhere down the line, thousands of years from now, like how like we have the geologic record right now, we're gonna have like the layers of the internet record, like geologic strata, right? We're gonna have like layers of old internet media where it's like 3,000 years ago, or 30,000 years in the future, right? They're going to be having conversations like this, like 30,000 years ago, humans heavily idolized, hypersexualized fictional characters in what are called video games. Like, what? They use the controller? We have our brain chips that do everything now, right? It's going to be fucking wild.
Actually, that kind of reminds me of something, because there was, like, I think I was a kid, like, when I was like 10, 11, pretty long time ago. There was this advertisement for like a skateboarding game that was like controlled with your mind, and I thought, holy shit, that sounds fucking cool.
What?
And then it was a fucking Kickstarter scam.
Oh.
I was so disappointed. It sounded so fucking cool.
I mean, we do have brain chips now.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, Elon Musk, I saw in the news, Elon Musk apparently has one now.
Yeah, they finally put it into like the first person. Was that like a week ago?
I think so. I mean, I think it's. I have my reservations on having a piece of software owned by a company installed in my brain, but
I don't think it's a good idea.
Depending on how invasive it is, at least when it comes to like helping people medically, like helping people with like nerve problems or what have you, right? Or other like medical applications, then fine. But when it comes to like feeding media or controlling media with your head,
yeah.
I don't think I want advertisements for Pringles beamed into my cortex.
No, me neither. And honestly, I don't want to run the possibility of some hacker out of Cambodia sending like 5 petabytes of tracer pornography directly into my brain.
Oh shit! And that's all you see. Like that's all you dream of. They control your dreams.
It's like, please, no more any other character.
Someone in Zythan chat. What if you had a brain chip and then they added prop hunt? Oh no,
Jesus.
Okay. Hey, I'm gonna let you go because we've gone over time.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm gonna
either
bring
way
the next
though.
guy
Thanks
in.
for having me on. This has been a blast, dude.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for can't talk. Thanks for chatting.
Absolutely no problem. Have a good one.
See ya. Fun conversations. All right. Where's my music? Hello? There we go. There we go. That's better. What's happening? Okay, yeah. So for people who still have no fucking idea what's going on, because more people are still showing up. Yeah, I'm doing this thing I call The Pit, where you want to come and hang out, come talk about whatever you want. It's like a radio show where you call in and do as you please. I'm doing this today because, like, I have a fever and apparently I'm sick, even though I feel fine. And I didn't want to, like, go outside and, like, infect people. I went for a walk and got some vitamin D via the sun, but I, didn't want to risk getting my colleagues sick, so I worked from home today. I got my shit done. I'm like, you know what? Let's make this kind of an official, recurring event. We call it The Pit. And it's The Pit because it's just a hot mess. It's whatever you want. It's whatever we want it to be. Whatever you come with and whatever whatever we deviate and talk about, right? All right, next person. Vier.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can. How you doing?
Excellent. I'm doing really good. Sorry to hear that you're sick.
I'm not even like sick. I feel most like I have like a little headache now, but I have a fever, but otherwise I'm like peachy keen. Everything's good. It's just, I don't know what's going on.
And yeah, well, hopefully you get better real soon.
Well, thanks, man. What's going on?
Not much. I got a bit of beef with you, actually.
Oh,
Want to start some drama.
We got some beef. Okay. Lay it on me. Is it
Okay.
well seasoned?
I like to think it is.
All right.
So you rated the Hazard Warning Warpaint as the third best in the game at this moment.
Did I?
You did.
I did.
In your most recent, you did.
Okay.
I personally believe that it is the best Warpaint in the game except for one thing.
Which is?
And that one thing is that I hate the stripes. You know how like it randomizes the orientation of the stripes?
Yeah.
And sometimes it just goes straight.
Yep, I know what you mean.
I have a shotgun that is almost completely straight lines, and it's a factory new, strange hazard warning shotgun, and it is the most infuriating thing.
Hey, I mean, it's a rare pattern, so what you could do is sell it to a collector and then buy a new one that looks better.
Man.
If you wanted to. But no, I hate that shit too. I had a strange factory new Killer Bee scattergun, but the stripes were almost perfectly horizontal, where they ran lengthwise with the gun. So like one barrel was black and then one barrel was yellow. It looked kind of cool, but it was not like what the Killer Bee should be. Yeah, I wish that there were limits to how far the orientation could go, instead of getting these really annoying patterns that just don't look very good at all. But it sucks. I still think it's a good war paint though.
It's very good. It's very good quality. I actually got a what's the lowest where you can get
Battle Scarred.
Yeah, I got a Battle Scarred Strange Hazard Warning, and I put it on a Power Jack, and that one looks wonderful. Because the head of the hammer is still almost entirely covered in stripes. It's just the edge of it that turns like kind of gray, and it looks wonderful. The blood stain is wonderful. Everything about it is great. I love it.
Very nice. I recently picked up a Strange Factory New Hazard Warning Brass Beast, because I didn't have like a good skin for it, and like Hazard Warning is so good, it's one of the few skins that looks good on the Brass Beast. So
Does it really?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, and even in higher wears too, it looks really good, because it's like, you know, it's a skin that's mostly metal, and then you have the stripes that aren't like these nasty fluorescent bits to it. It still looks like a gun, which is fucking great. So it looks good on pretty much every weapon model, which can't be said for many other war paints, which is why I oftentimes rate them lower. So
yeah, I would also like to thank you personally for being a tall woman appreciator, and a very public one at that.
we need more people on our side, man. We have to wake people up to the joys of big ladies, and it's like you can't just cast them aside. You can't just cast them aside.
Man, I remember reading that one green text about like this chick who like protected this like little guy at in her high school from bullies, and he went around carrying her her books and everything.
Yes.
I'm like, that should have been me.
Oh, I saw that shit, dude. Oh man, that's funny. No, yeah, I was like, God, it was like when I was you stoked a memory from when I was in high school. In high school, I was the tallest kid because I was just a big boy. But we had a few chicks in my class who were over 6 foot. And they would all like, because whenever we would do like PE, they'd all like, we'd do volleyball and PE, they'd all throw us on the same team, and they would call me and this other 6 foot chick the Twin Towers, because we would not let the ball go over the net. So they were out there, but I was still taller.
Well, they weren't out there for me, man. When I was in high school, I was the shortest guy in my class, but
well, dude, I'm envious because you have a chance. You have a chance.
Shortest guy.
Yeah, you have a chance.
Still taller than all the girls.
How tall are you though?
I'm like 5'6" now. I was
You
like
have a
5'2".
chance, dude. What are you talking about? You're like in the sweet spot. You could find a. I just finished dating someone who's 5'7". That's just an inch, but still taller. You have hope.
I live in a part of the world where it's entirely Latinas and like.
Oh
and
no!
Vietnamese.
Oh, they're all short too.
And Latinas. It's all short women. I have no chance.
I love Latinas, but they're all so short. I can throw them. Oh no! Oh, it's so painful. There are tall
Yeah.
there are tall Latinas, but it's a rarity. I hope you find one.
Yeah. God, me too, but it's hard.
We struggle. We struggle.
We truly do.
But don't give up hope, man. You have a shot because you're in the ballpark. You have the sweet spot of height of where it's not impossible to find women. They're like because the women tend to have a hang up of like dating dudes who are shorter than they are, but there are some who don't mind it. So you have a chance because there's always going to be women shorter than you, as you've described, but there's also going to be a lot of ladies taller than you. So you have the options. They're there. Exploit that.
Yeah.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Thank you. That actually really means a lot to me.
I believe in you, sir.
And sorry, I tend to like jump from one thing to another, so I hope you don't mind that.
No, you're fine. This is whatever we want it to be. Just go for it.
So I was also watching your the video that you put on your alternate channel about ranking ice cream flavors and pizza toppings.
Oh no. What?
No.
Oh no. All right, go on.
I 100% agree with, like, basically the one I want to talk about is the coconut ranking.
Okay, all right.
Yes, I love coconut.
Yes, thank you.
However, I think that when you were talking about coconut water and coconut milk,
Yeah.
did you buy coconut water that was like specifically boxed? Like, you go to like your Smith's or whatever, or I don't know what
Grocery
Kroger
store, yeah.
Yeah, your grocery store, and you buy like coconut water that's just in the box.
No, I got like it was like in a bottle and had like the bits in it. Like the pulp.
Yeah, see, what you have to do is you have to find a place that sells young coconut.
Young
you cut
coconut.
Yeah, I'm Filipino. It's called buko. Okay. You find buko and you cut it open and you just have fresh coconut water straight from the source, and it is delicious. It's kind of sweet. It doesn't taste like chemicals. It doesn't taste acidic, which is what I think that the boxed coconut water tastes like.
Yeah, it was kind of punchy and it didn't feel good on the palate when I took a sip. I didn't like it.
Yeah, no, it's sweet. It's really refreshing, and the best part is that you can take a spoon and you can scoop out all the flesh of the coconut.
Eat the meat.
Yeah,
yes.
You get the meat too, and it is one of the where I live like 15 minutes from the Asian market.
Yeah.
So like, luckily I have one of those. If you can try and find like an Asian, like, not a supermarket, but like
like an Asian store. Yeah, I got a few of those around here.
Yeah, see if you can find one. They're really, really nice, and the best part is that you get to cut it open with a knife, and that just like fulfills some kind of primal man enjoyment.
Oh man, I gotta go out of my way to see if I can find this shit, because that sounds fucking good.
It's wonderful.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, you got 60 seconds. Closing thoughts? Anything more?
60 seconds. No, not really. Just like to say, you're also 100% correct about the Dragon's Fury. It is my favorite flamethrower in the game. It's so good. It's wonderful. I love it.
Not enough people use it. It's really fun. And now that they fixed all the weird quirks and bugs with it, it's really, really good.
I love two-shotting fucking scouts with them.
Oh, it's for me, I love the fact that I can demolish engineers with it, because it's just that's one thing pyros have an issue with, is dealing with sentry nests, but fucking you 2-3 shot any building. It's so good.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
All right, good talking to you.
Yes, sir, man. Good luck out there. You'll find your lady. And thank you for
too.
opening my eyes to finding some young coconut, which someone said in my chat is the new rapper name.
Oh god,
Young
that would be my
coconut.
rapper name.
All right, take care, man.
All right, you too.
See ya. Nice guy. He'll find someone. He'll find his lady. He'll find his lady friend. Dragon's Fury is a really fucking good weapon, but I really wish we had an air blast based flamethrower. I mean, on paper it sounds fun, but it merits a lot of testing to see if that sort of thing would mesh well with TF2's gameplay and not be fucking obnoxious to deal with, right? If it was air blast that just reflected projectiles and didn't knock players around, then maybe something like that could work. But if it also continuously knocked players around, oh man, that'd be something else. I don't know. It would merit some kind of different and unique balancing in order for it to work properly, you know? So, you feel me? You feel me? All right, let's bring in the next guy. We have G-Roy, the legend, the man, the myth, the legend. Hello.
Hello, Zesty.
What's poppin'?
Nothing much.
Doing all right? Having a good day?
Yeah.
Good to hear.
I want to say thanks for helping me understand TF2's art style better, because you know, I'd never really truly paid attention to that stuff before I started watching you.
Yeah. Hold on, my mic just disconnected. Do I still sound okay? Can my stream still hear me?
Yeah. You sound fine.
I'm seeing my levels move around, but I'm not sure if my mic is still if my input's still correct. Am I still good? Okay, good. I was adjusting the angle of my microphone. Art style, yes. Yeah, I think, I mean, I'm not an artist. I'm not someone who designed the game, but I feel like it doesn't take much intuitive sense to understand what does and does not fit in the context of the game, stylistically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's very easy to, like, just throw something in the game and then, like, make some ham-fisted argument of, like, oh yeah, it fits in the game because of X, Y, and Z, right?
Yeah.
You know, for example, like putting a fucking, I don't know, raccoon on the soldier's head because in the comics they made this one-off joke of soldier liking raccoons. Therefore, he's gonna have raccoons all over his fucking body. So, but does it really fit stylistically? Does it fit tonally? Is it appropriate for the game? You know, it's not enough people kind of focus on those aspects and kind of just look at it. Oh, is it silly and do I want to buy it, right? So,
yeah.
I hope that I've been informative when it comes to kind of like and descriptive enough when it comes to like, hey, this is probably what we should be gunning for, and not, you know, I don't know, donut glasses or something.
I think you've been doing a pretty good job at that, Zesty.
I mean, that's what people tell me, so apparently I'm doing something right.
All right. So, for your hot takes video, on Twitter, I submitted saying, what do you think of TF2 having like a map rotation similar to Splatoon?
Let me think for a sec. In a sense, we do already have this with Smismus and Scream Fortress, where we only have these maps available for a certain time of the year. On the good side to it, it would make people go out of their way to have to play maps they otherwise normally wouldn't play. But at the same time, options that were otherwise always available would go away. And at this stage in TF2's life, I think it would cause more harm than good. Because taking away content people expect to be able to engage with whenever they want will only piss more people off than please, right? Even if you could make the argument of there being some long-term benefit for limiting the map rotation, especially in terms of like lowering the queue times and what have you, I think it would tick off more people, you know? Like, for example, right, you have some maps that are objectively just fucking horrible. I mean, personally, I love CP Junction, I love the meat grinder, but a lot of people hate CP Junction. And then it's like, okay, in the rotation for this week or this month, we have Junction, but not Dust Bowl, right? So, like, if you want to play CP, but your favorite map isn't there, then it's like, what incentive do you have to play the game, right?
I think it'd be more like a daily rotation would be better.
I fear that might be something like that would be too frequent. Like, it's like, oh, I want to play TF2 today. Oh, my favorite map's not there. Guess I'm waiting till tomorrow. And then, but then it's the same argument could go for a week. I guess I'm not playing TF2 this week because like most of my favorite maps aren't there. So,
yeah,
I don't know. It sucks because like we're in the position that we have too many maps in the rotation. But if we remove any of them, or no, I shouldn't say any, but yeah, if we remove any of them, you're gonna piss off somebody, right? Let me think. Hold on. But if you have, if you want to chime in, go ahead. I had a thought. I'm trying to like solidify it.
No, that was pretty much it.
I think
that question.
Yeah, I think like there are some maps, right? There are some maps that people just never play on. For example, a lot of 5CP maps are always dead. Gully Wash is almost never populated. Freight is another one that's never populated. It's not to say that these maps aren't of good quality and are fun, or aren't fun, but they're rarely played. And would they be missed by a majority of people? No. And in my opinion, you're gonna have to appease a majority of people when it comes to your rotations. I did also see someone suggest like you have a permanent rotation of a set number of maps, and then you rotate out other less popular ones. Perhaps that's a better middle ground. I see someone like I see the chat popped up in Discord. Brew is a map that no one fucking plays on, right? So that would be a very high candidate to just chuck out. So yeah, and then Monkey just said in chat, you know, sad that people don't play CP Snowplow or Selbian because they're so far down on the list. Thing is, Monkey, the more I think about it, the more I think about that, I feel like that's less of a contributing factor to whether or not someone plays on a map, right? Because if you genuinely had a good experience on that map, you're gonna scroll down and put that in your rotation because you can tailor your own experience. Perhaps I'm giving people too much of the benefit of the doubt in that I'm gonna expect them to scroll, right? But I don't know, you, G-Roy, is it Giroy or G-Roy?
It's Geroy because it's Russian, but I don't really care what you
Geroy.
say.
Okay, so Geroy. I don't know whether or not you do this or just because out of like muscle memory or reflex. But like when you boot up TF2, do you normally play like say casual or community servers?
Usually casual.
Usually casual.
And when you're streaming, it's community.
Yeah, and then like how big is your personal map rotation? Like what do you normally tick off when you play?
I have most stuff ticked off, but I don't have a 2 fort and a few others that I don't really like to play on.
Like even special game modes like manpower, pastime, those are in there too?
Yeah, but they never get picked.
Yeah, because you just by default select everything, right? And I also suspect that a lot of people genuinely do that. They tick off all the maps without really meticulously selecting specific maps. And that might also be a contributing factor to fewer people diving into a specific map, right? Because certain maps are always going to stay populated, and the coordinator is going to prioritize more heavily populated games that have empty slots. By nature of the matchmaking system, matchmaking term used loosely, trying to keep a game going rather than forming a match from the start. It still does that, but very rarely, especially if you're solo queuing, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know what they could do to tackle the massive map rotation, aside from just maybe just cutting shit out or like limiting it. Like for the month of March, you will have these maps. I don't know. I'm somewhat enamored by the idea of a limited rotation like you suggest, but I still think it's going to piss off more people than please. It would merit experimentation to see what happens.
Yeah. One last question.
Yeah.
Have you played the finals?
What's the finals?
It's a arena shooter that came out in December.
I am not familiar with the game.
Ah, okay.
I will mark it down and I'll take a look.
If you ever want to play it, just hit me up.
Is it good?
I enjoy it a lot.
Well, shit, that's all the reason I need to take a look into it, so there you go, the finals. I saw it on top Steam charts not too long ago, actually, so I'll see what it's all about.
Anyways, thanks for having me up here, Zesty.
Yeah, man, thanks for popping by.
Goodbye.
Yeah, take care. All right, reset my timer here. Yeah, I've heard of the finals, but I've not played it. The game looks visually stinky. Let me see. The finals. Can't type finals. Ooh. Everything's pink. And I see lots of goofy costumes. It's like Squid Game X Apex Legends. I don't know how I feel about that. Also, why are you can send it once in my chat. I saw it the first time. I have like the extended chat on my alternate monitor here. You don't have to send the same thing 5 times. Jesus. Is it a battle royale? I don't know. Quick question. What's the most underwhelming anime I've watched before I bring in the next person? What's the most underwhelming anime that I've watched? Ooh, what is one that just... Because when I say, when you say underwhelming, I'm going into it with a lofty expectation, and then I come out disappointed. What was one that did that to me? I don't know, man. I think I've been disappointed, but I've not been underwhelmed by any anime yet. Because, like, I rarely go off of recommendations. I just kind of pick what's interesting. Like, no one's, like, really hyped up and... okay, maybe Jujutsu Kaisen is one that I really don't care for. Because I see a lot of stuff and people hyping it up, and then I watched a couple episodes, I'm like... it's not that good. I'm not gonna keep watching it. So... I think that's the best answer I can give to that question. Okay. Let's bring in the next person. And that is... Okay, sorry. You're in, bucko. Also, you're muted. FYI.
Oh, I see.
What's
Good
happening,
evening.
man?
It's been good.
It's been good? Awesome.
So, yeah. So recently I have bought graphic tablets, and today I have practiced in making warpaints, and that will be topic of my questions.
Okay, fire away.
So, do you think that more militaristic warpaints might work with the style of TF2? Like, as a history freak, I've been thinking for a long time about adding a warpaint that resembles in style of early Bundeswehr uniform. But
Okay.
as far as I remember, you didn't really like the warpaints that are present and resemble camos.
Yeah, so
Like,
that kind of goes back to my own personal tastes. I just think that war paints like Backwoods Boomstick or Woodland Warrior are just ugly, but that's again more of my manner of preference. But you know, military style, you know, camo and uniforms and things like that very much fit in with the style of TF2. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that if you tune a bit of colors, make it maybe team colors, then it might work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or use a color that works with both blue and red.
Yeah,
like...
or colors that just exist within TF2's palette, because something you don't see a lot of in the game is green. You don't get a lot of green aside from
true.
some shrubbery
Yes.
here and there, or like trees in the skybox or what have you, but you just don't get bright green anywhere. And so when they gave us green camo, that really stuck out like a sore thumb, and I just don't think it looks good. But yeah, appropriate color palette choices like you suggest would be way better. 100%.
Understandable. And about textures, when it comes to texture work. Today I worked on the flat steel texture, and I've received some feedback.
Okay.
And one person thought that it would be a good idea to add some details to a texture. But do you think that it would really work? Like, I tried to mix in a bit of red, blue, and I think it was olive, dark olive. It did work out really good. I might show it off at your server.
Yeah, I would need
later.
to take a close. Are you inside Monkey's Warpaint server?
No, but I'm inside
You should...
of your service as hell.
Yeah, I would also join Monkey's Warpaint server. And you can get way more experienced feedback in there as well. I can take a look at it too. I don't know if you've posted it inside my Discord. I haven't seen it.
I will join the Warpaint server.
Yeah, join that, but also
post
post it in my Discord too, and I can take a better look at it, and I can give you more direct feedback on that specific texture.
I will join the server once I finish my work on the main texture, because now it just looks like what the hell was that name? I gotta pull it up. organically hell raised. I use it as a base texture.
I see. Okay.
And my final question: what the hell is your current nickname in Steam?
I keep trying to come up with new and creative aliases so people don't know it's me. And I can say it on stream and then I have to change it now, but I don't want to because it's like a really funny alias. So I won't say it because I don't want to have to change it because it's funny. So
how do you keep getting
no, there are fucking monkey already put it in chat. Fuck you. It's it's womb weevil. I just find it funny. It's like a, you know, and then someone DM'd me like womb warrior was another really funny one. So again, I have to keep them guessing. I can't let people know it's me. I'm not gonna. I can't use my Zesty Jesus name anymore. Otherwise, it's like, oh, it's him, and then I can't really play the game. So, or I get kicked from servers, which has happened before. So I prefer to be anonymous.
People might flash your stream with swastikas as it happens.
Well, people do that anyways. Like, you know, as soon as I go live, people already try to get in my games. But I take precautions by now operating my own server where I can ban people if they, you know, misbehave, or also I have like the mod that removes decals on objectors, so I don't have to worry about people flashing porn on my screen or whatever. So yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. But I would like to say that I am a tall woman enthusiast too. But
there you go.
But my height doesn't leave me almost any chances, because most of the women I've dated, I met, and I communicate with on a daily basis are either my height or slightly shorter than me.
I feel your pain, brother. I feel your pain. I know. There's someone out there, man. There's one out there for all of us. One day. Who knows?
I want to believe. I want to believe.
I want to believe. And it's like the fucking... And instead of like the UFO, it's like a giant woman towering over the trees in the background or something. I want to believe.
I didn't even think about that. What a throwback.
Any fucking X-Files fans here?
I watched it when I was a kid on the TV.
Yeah. Fucking love the X-Files. I haven't watched the X-Files in years. Ugh. Such a good show.
So, I won't, I will not hold the queue any further. Have a good stream, man.
Yeah. Thank you for popping in, and good luck on your war paint.
Thanks.
Yeah, take care. Nice guy. The girl will bait you in and then tell you about her only. Monkey, you gotta get off the dating apps, man. Gotta get off dating apps. Gotta get off dating websites, because, from my experience, when it comes to dating apps, most of the time, all of the female profiles you come across are just bots that are advertising OnlyFans accounts or Instagram accounts that are either bloated with scams, or it's someone else's OnlyFans that they're advertising. Just do not bother with dating apps. They are a complete waste of time. Don't do it. Just don't do it. No bueno. Quick question. I unboxed a battle-scarred bomb carrier and applied it to the lock and load. It has blood splatter that spells hi. Is that fairly rare or pretty common? I don't think I've ever seen that before, honestly. Where do we go? If you want to... Well, I mean, the queue is pretty long now. I'm probably not going to be able to get through everyone today. But, for future streams, or if you want notifications for when I go live or when I upload a video, then join the Discord that's in the description below, and you'll get all that, and you'll also be able to participate in my workshop streams and in these streams. So yeah, that's where you go. I'm assuming that's in reference to what's going on right now, but if it's talking about in reference to dating, I don't know. Go outside. That's all I can suggest is go outside, and hopefully you find someone at work. Find someone through a friend. I don't know what else to suggest, because it's just fucking... Dating is hard. Dating is very hard right now. So I really don't know. I really don't. Okay, next I misclicked, sorry. Seed Smoth, I got you instead of the next person, my bad.
Oh, damn it.
It doesn't matter, you're in now. I'll get him next.
Oh, God. everything I wanted to say has just completely left my brain here.
Hey, can you see the queue, like where you are in the queue? Like you know
No, I can't.
You don't? That's dumb. I would hope that
No.
people would like know that they're coming up next. Ugh,
No.
that's stupid, but
No, I've just been building Warhammer models and just like waiting.
oh, dude, fucking listen, I know nothing about Warhammer, but I respect the people that like put in hundreds of hours into building and painting like the super detailed models. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
I just think they look really cool. Again, I know nothing about it, but they look awesome.
Okay, if you want to, are you interested in getting into it at all? Is that a thing you've considered?
Honestly, I probably will never get into Warhammer, but
Fair.
if you have a source, I'm sure other people in my stream chat will be interested in hearing what you have to say.
Okay, so my recommendation, how I got into it, was I'm like, this lore is kind of cool. How do I get into the lore? Now, what a lot of people will say is, they're like, okay, read the Horus Heresy. It's this big thing, biggest thing. Don't do that. That sucks. It's an 11-book series. You will get burnt out on it.
Okay.
Like, don't do that. Don't start there. Personally, I recommend a podcast. It's Adeptus Ridiculous. A guy named Bricky.
There's a podcast about this?
Yes, there's so many Warhammer lore podcasts.
Okay.
Just listen to one of those, and then be like, hey, I might like this. And then start looking at the tabletop. Stuff like that, if you're interested in it.
Okay, there you go.
That's my recommendation.
If anyone's interested in getting into Warhammer, there's your advice. Go for it.
All right. So, we all know you're the funny TF2 guy.
Yes.
Do you play any games in like your spare time? Like, what do you gravitate towards?
Well, right now I've been really into DRG and also Lethal Company is what I've been playing a lot of because it's like the funny, popular, wacky game. Then you can mod the hell out of it. It's just a stupid, turn your brain off, not pay attention kind of experience. So, yeah. Beyond that, I don't play much. Like every now and again, I'm in a rare mood to go back and play like a Nintendo game. Like I fire up Metroid or Super Mario Galaxy or something like that and just play for a bit. But
and you're doing it legally, right?
Yeah, no, I'm serious. I have my Nintendo Wii that I bought right there. It's the limited edition red one that I have on my.
I emulate everything.
Oh, trust me, I emulate older games that I can't. I mean, I legally. I should say I legally play all my games.
Yeah.
But no, for older games like stuff on the SNES or Game Boy Advance, yeah, I have to emulate. Otherwise, I can't play them.
Yeah, like and so many games are just getting like forgotten or kind of lost.
Yeah.
Because they don't get re-released. Or
yeah. This goes back to what that guy was saying earlier about that one game that got removed off of Steam is like it's now going to suffer from
Spec Ops The Line.
Yeah, it's going to suffer from lost media syndrome where if people aren't actively preserving copies of this game, it's just going to be lost to time.
Yeah, it's also like that game particularly, it didn't market itself as what it really was, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's a very much like a War is Hell type game, but it got marketed as, hey, it's Gears of War, but sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have the game on Steam, so hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dead multiplayer, let's go.
That's the inevitable fate of online multiplayer games is that they just become dead. For example, like, I love Rats Instagib. It is such it's so insanely
that game is awesome.
It's so insanely addictive. It just feels so good and the soundtrack is beautiful. Fuck, it's such a good game. And the custom maps are so dumb. You can play on really good ones and really dumb shit. Oh, it's such a good game. But no one plays it. It's like there's like 7 active players at most during any given day, right? It's like unless you go out of your way to set up your own server and have your friends join you, you're never going to play it.
I mean, I think you could do that here, honestly.
Oh, I know for a fact I could like announce that I'm doing a Rats stream and then have people come in and play, but
yeah, like I would join in. I mean, I suck at the game, but I join in, you know.
Oh, I suck too. But like we know what's actually a problem is like there are still like 5 guys who haunt the game and just wait for people to fire up a public lobby and then they join and then completely decimate whoever's in there. They could also be cheating, I don't know. But it's I mean, like I would have to do like a password protected server to have people join and then like refresh it every round so new people can get in, you know?
Yeah, that is such like it's 8 people, so who would cheat? But at the same time, it's like, it's 8 people. One of them is gonna ruin it.
People
Like,
fucking cheat in every game. There are cheaters, and people cheat in every online multiplayer game. It doesn't matter what it is.
like Dying Light, when I was getting into that game,
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, cool. Can't wait to use this great progression system. Then someone just tried to, like, vomit stacks of medkits and weapons on me. I'm like, I don't want this. I don't want this.
Yeah, that happened to me in GTA 5, where someone just gave me, they kept vomiting money bags on me. And then and apparently they were like doing that to like get your account in trouble if they like saw that you suddenly came across a shitload of currency and they would like get you banned or something.
They would use that to see if you like hacked in money.
But
and
they never banned me, so
Yeah.
I had shitloads of money and I never wanted for money ever again whenever I played that game. So that was cool.
Nice.
So thanks, random hacker guy. You didn't get me banned and gave me all the toys I want. So. But yeah, I was gonna say something else too. Yeah, but people fucking cheat in every game, man. Fucking Metroid Prime Hunters for the Nintendo DS.
For the DS, yes.
People cheat in they fucking cheat in that game. How? How?
It's a single player game for the DS, and you're just
With
like,
a multiplayer
I don't
feature.
want to get hit.
With a
I
multiplayer
don't
feature.
want to take the. There's multiplayer in that game?
Yeah, Metroid Prime Hunters for the DS. Yeah, there's multiplayer, online multiplayer.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, I juiced that game when I was like 12.
Oh, me too. It's one of my favorite
in, like,
games.
A single sitting.
It was so fun. I love that game. I mean,
It was like the only first-person shooter to really work well on DS.
I agree. The controls did feel a bit jank, but when you started using
Mm-hmm.
like because the way they would do it is you could either aim with the stylus, which is fucking horrible, or you could do the classic kind of like I call tank controls like you would do for the GameCube.
Yeah,
and that
where
works
it's like you have
so
like
much
the
better.
The D-pad and then like your little face buttons.
Yeah, that works
That's
way
what I
better.
used.
Yeah, same here. That genuinely felt good to play for a first-person shooter on the DS. It was
Like it wasn't sticky, you know. Like,
No,
you didn't feel
yeah.
like that lag to it. Or
Yeah,
like
it had
that kind of like move stop.
Yeah, it had really good snap, and I think they sacrificed
Yes.
a lot of quality in the game so it could have that snap. Because it wasn't a very beautiful game, right? Because if you go back and play any other Metroid Prime
it was
game,
very much like it was a sludge-looking game.
yeah, you go back and play like any Metroid Prime game, right? They all look fucking beautiful. But then you go play the one on the DS, it looks, it's pixelated. There's no
I mean,
lighting.
it's also the DS.
It's also,
like
I mean, yeah, it's
original
limited.
DS.
But even with
it
the
wasn't
limited,
even developed for DSi.
yeah, but even with like the limited hardware, they still made a game that didn't look like complete dog water, but still played
Yeah.
really, really well.
And like it was stable too.
Yeah.
Like that game, like there were no drops in quality. Okay, and I say that because I'm like, okay, this is a first-person shooter on the DS, so I'm gonna go for the next one I pick up from the bargain bin. Peter Jackson's King Kong for the DS haunts my dream.
Oh,
It
you got like
haunts
some
me.
shovelware for your DS,
It
dude.
was. Here's the thing. It's a very interesting game
You
because
say.
it's a DS port of an already mediocre game
Oh.
for most like top of the line consoles at the time.
Yeah.
So it preserved a couple mechanics like not giving you a HUD and having to manually check your ammo.
Oh, fun. Oh, it's horrible. What the fuck?
But like the game, it's a very slow game.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the DS version. Unlike most versions, it's a very slow game. So taking the time to like check your ammo before you go into something, it's like, okay, cool, that works. On DS, they had to like it onto like the small cartridge. They
Yeah.
had to like cram it in there. So it's just really fast and you can't check ammo. And it is such a sticky game. Like
Horrible.
it just like it's like glue.
You've
You know?
turned me off from ever. I'm gonna go look up some videos on this later.
Yes.
Like hopefully
I-
someone's done
I
like a
have the
shovelware
game.
showcase.
I have like in like my old DS stuff that I still have.
Oh, I got
that
mine,
game is
yeah.
sitting there because at one point I'm going to beat it, but every time I look at that cartridge, I am filled with such overwhelming dread.
You don't want to touch it.
No, I don't.
Oh.
Like, okay, I want to beat it so I can just be like, hey, guess what? I beat the DS port.
You
of
wanna
the
have
Peter
that title.
Jackson's King. I want to like, okay, I want to be like, I could talk about this because I beat it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to touch that piece of hardware ever again.
No, I feel
don't
you.
want to touch that.
I feel you, dude. Because I'm trying to remember. Because I know I have a couple of shovelware games. Like I have this really weird Pac-Man game for the DS. I don't remember which one, but is horrible. It's like super. It's like a 3D-ish game, like super floaty and just. Oh, it's horrible. I put it down after like 10 minutes and never touched it again.
Are you a Star Fox guy at all?
You know,
Is that your jam?
I never got into Star Fox. The only Star Fox one I played was for the N64, and I only ever played it when I went to my dentist's office because he had that in the waiting room.
Fair.
That's the only time I played Star Fox.
Fair point. Fair point. I mean, now I just like it. Looping all the way back to like Nintendo, specifically Nintendo's game preservation and lack thereof.
Oh.
If you don't mind.
Oh, by all means, you got a minute left, but do continue.
Oh damn. Okay.
No,
so
go.
Basically, the virtual consoles are really weird to me because they handpick whatever games get released in waves, but they don't like they handpick the most obscure things because what they're trying to do is not what they're trying to do. It's just weird. It's weird because they get really pissed off when you emulate games, but the only way that you can play the game in its like legal way is to get through a third party, like an N64 or something like that, and then hope you get one that works, and hope you get a game cartridge that works, and just hope the thing works. That's weird. They don't re-release the games. When they do, it's $60 or $70, or it's a bad
bullshit,
remake.
I think.
Like, okay, Metroid Prime remake got sold for 40 bones. I think that's a good price.
That's what it sold for when it first released. They just did the same
and that's
price.
also a remake.
Yeah.
Like it's an updated version.
Yep.
That works.
Yes.
And then you have something like the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection, which is just like okay ports of the HD collection for $60. I mean, I bought it on my Switch so I can play it on the go, but it's weird. But like Nintendo's get so mad at like they got mad at like Dolphin emulator. I think.
Oh yeah, they went out of their
Yeah.
way to really get on their case. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like that emulator works through dumping files. It's like if I buy Tears of the Kingdom, I own this. I can use whatever I want. I can destroy this thing. I can light it on fire, or I can just dump it on my PC and use it on emulator. Anyway, weird stuff. I assume I'm over time. I'm sorry about that.
You are, but don't worry about it because you bring up another very interesting topic. But yeah, this it all ultimately goes back to media preservation and companies like Nintendo hating their consumers and trying to stop them from having fun at every turn. With engaging in practices that would not hurt their bottom line, which is fucking stupid because they're a bunch of, dinosaurs that don't understand how the internet works or how people enjoy their content. So
and they're just Eastern.
Yeah, and that too. So
all right, be good people.
Yeah, take care, man. By Eastern, they have different ideals when it comes to how they handle their business and their IPs, and they tend to be far more protective when it comes to those things. So I've kind of left TF2 because I'm so tired of the bot problem. Well, lucky for you, guess who's next? Lucky for you, there's someone here who might have something to say about cheaters.
Bomb here.
About
I
cheaters.
fucking
and bots.
hate cheaters.
I feel you there, brother. What's going on, man?
I'm sure I gave some people PTSD given some of the AI voice lines they've been spewing in casual. It's insane to think how bad it's gotten.
I find the amount of dedication incredibly creepy that they will do, because I've experienced it too. Someone uses an AI recreation of my voice to do whatever they want. Fucking wild.
Yes, I know who did that actually. They're a friend of mine. And at the time, it seemed funny because
What, like the one who did my voice?
Yes, I know what you're referring to. At the time, it seemed funny because at that time I believed you're like racist and transphobic and that because
well, yeah, I don't
people
blame
told
you.
me.
I don't blame you with the lens and broad brushstroke people paint me with, but
yeah, so but I did my diligence and now I think it's safe to say we're friends.
Oh yeah, we're on good
yeah.
terms. We're on good terms.
Yeah. We're good. But yeah, there's one interesting thing I've been thinking about with regards to the bot crisis because, I've made videos about it. I've drawn attention to the issue.
Very much so, and we thank you for it.
Well, a lot of people don't thank me for it. They actually blame me because I've drawn attention to the issue. They blame me for antagonizing the bot hosters, and it pisses me the fuck off.
They're fucking
when people
ignorant
make
to
that
that.
argument.
They don't understand how this works. They would have been doing it anyways, regardless if you had said anything or not.
Exactly, they would do it anyway, and it's like I've had so many people come into my Discord and complain about that. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, you talking about it at a wide scale, or anyone talking about it at a wide scale, is not going to increase the amount of bots. It's just going to.
It's like
they would do
their
it anyways.
solution is basically if you shut the fuck up, the problem will go away. And it's like, are you?
There has been an alarming increase in the amount of cheater sympathizers is what I'm calling it. And I see them mostly on Twitter, which is where all the brain rot tends to go, where you have people that are not only defending Valve's inability to address bots, which they can absolutely fucking do. Right?
Oh, they can do. Look, community servers have managed it. I have incredible defenses on my server. They cannot get in.
Yeah, and
unless
Valve
they're,
can
like,
do the same
ultra
thing.
closeting.
Yeah, and Valve can do the same thing, but they don't, right? So they defend Valve by saying it's an impossible task for them to overcome, and then they even go so far as to say that we should be thanking cheat writers for exposing exploitative aspects of the game's code, and that we should be thanking them for lighting a fire under Valve's ass and showing how bad of a company they are.
I'm going to thank the bot hosters for the no less than 4 different types of criminal offenses they've committed against me. Yeah, sure, buddy.
Yeah. It's pure schizophrenia that's, again, largely centralized on Twitter. So, are we really surprised that kind of argument would come out of that cesspool? No, but I've seen a lot of it.
Yeah, it's carnage.
It's
absolute
stupid.
Carnage. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about what to do, because the anti-cheat, it was always intended to be a thing for people who like casual, because people have always said, go play on community servers if you want a bot-free experience, which is a valid argument, but, you know, there's a lot of people out there who prefer casual and want to be able to play it and not have to, well, you know, want something to be done about the bots there, and that's what the anti-cheat I'm working on is trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I should explain for the people who aren't aware of my channel and what I'm doing.
Go for it.
I'm building an anti-cheat that's designed to work in casual, and the way it works is that in TF2 you can record your perspective with demo recordings, and instead of it being a raw video file, it's like a replay of the data coming over your internet connection when you're actually connected to the server. So it contains raw data like players' positions, what view angle, and, you know, raw actual sort of human readable, well, at least computer readable information.
Yeah.
The idea is, why don't you take all that information, we upload it to a central server, and we compile it and just have a look through that information. First automate it, because, you know, that's a lot of information to deal with. We've got to narrow it down to the interesting stuff.
Yep.
And then let people review it and see if there's actual evidence of cheaters there, and if there is, we can send that information straight back to all the anti-cheat clients.
Yep.
And they can deal with the cheaters in best way necessary, and we can also facilitate auto vote kicking, things like that. So that's the general idea behind the anti-cheat, and it's intended for a situation where casual is still salvageable.
Right, and
however,
However,
a lot of people are arguing it's not salvageable, which, you know, it's in situations like what a lot of people are experiencing right now in Australia and I believe the US, you know, you might think, what's the anti-cheat going to do about that?
Yeah.
And so I've been thinking of what alternative solutions we can apply, because we're getting people to install this tool.
Yeah.
And so one solution I've thought of is bringing back quick play, but utilizing it for community servers only. So if casual is absolutely screwed and you just need to find a community server really quickly because you just want to play the game,
that would be an interesting compromise. I'm curious how well it would work. And also you'd have to, I would imagine, install some kind of filters to filter out like the really crazy servers that deviate too far from the vanilla experience, right?
The intention is for it to be configurable, right? So you can decide what servers you want to play on. You can decide what meets your taste, and then once you got it configured, you just press go and it will find a server for you and your friends. Because that's the one other thing I really like about casual. It's the fact that I can just get 5 other people to queue with me and we're in a game. We don't have to worry about, you know, being on the same team or that. It's just handled for us.
Right.
And so the idea is, if you're queued up with 5 other people with our system, then it'll find a server with enough space, and it'll help populate community servers too, because people tend to be biased against you know, empty servers for obvious reasons.
True, yeah, and people are also very.
But if you can
biased
find
against
24
touching...
people looking for a game, then you can put them all in the same server.
Oh, absolutely, and that would it would help quickly populate an otherwise good server like mine, and get it going.
Yeah, and yeah, that is one of my backup plans.
I think that's actually a pretty decent idea, and it would absolutely merit experimentation to see how effective it would be, but I think it's a good idea, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
And then the anti-cheat can still function because it's client-side demo recordings. You can do that on any server you want.
Yeah, you had an air of criticism here in my chat. If bot detector worked despite its biased devs like Natsuki putting in innocent people just to blacklist them, more people would use it, but it doesn't.
Well, the reason it doesn't work is because, well, there isn't evidence backing it up. And I've run into the same problem with the cheated database that I made prior to working on the anti-cheat, because it's, you know, an accusation is just an accusation. Like, people trust me, so they place value in my accusations.
And this guy you're talking about, this guy who's saying this is a cheater himself, by the way.
Yeah, well,
in fact, I can actually bring him in next because I saw him in the list. It'd be interesting to speak with a cheater.
The problem with accusations, like, yeah, sure, you may trust the source, but it's not self-evident that the source is trustworthy. The goal of the anti-cheat is to make it self-evident that the accusations are trustworthy.
Yeah, and so for those who may not understand, what do you mean by self-evident?
It's well, it's demo recordings. Those can be published and shared very easily. So if you want to know whether a certain you know, mark against someone's account is accurate or not, you can go in, you can look at the demo recording, and it will tell you whether they're cheating or not. And if you dispute the conclusion we came to, I want to facilitate a process for that where people can dispute it and say, hey, actually there's a quirk in the game, like, you know, overheal particles or something that could have given away his location. So
yeah,
I mean, to be fair, the cases we care about the most, there's a lot of blatants out there, so we'll be able to get
you'd be able to get a pretty good chunk of them right away, right? With something like that, right? But it's the ones that are, you know, that can hide it a bit better. They're gonna be hard to get to.
But I also want it to target closets as well, right? Because they,
of course,
it's a, you know, you often run into them once or twice, and, you know, maybe see a couple suspicious things. But if you have a whole collection of data on them and you can prove there's a consistent pattern suspicious activity going on, then it poses serious risks to closets as well.
Yeah, I actually used a piece of valuable advice in how you kind of have like your network of confirmed cheaters and what have you, and how they kind of keep track of how many other VAC banned or cheaters they're friends with, right? I had someone pop into my own server the other day, and my anti-cheat very rarely has a false positive, but it picked up this guy for, I forgot what it was. It was either looking angles or something else very briefly, but it didn't kick him, and then it went away. So either he toggled or he did something to make it not so sensitive to whatever he was doing. And I'm like, okay, this is suspicious. And so I got his profile, just did a quick check, threw it on Steam Rep. Sure enough, he was friends with like 12 other VAC banned accounts and 3 known cheaters. I'm like, yep, that's cheater. He's gone.
Yeah. I see someone in the chat ask, the problem with this database thing is it requires an amount of trust in strangers you really shouldn't have. I mean, yes, that is true, but the alternative is opening it up to the community, in which case you have to trust the community as a whole. And once you start taking in user input, then you open it up to the cheaters being able to manipulate the system. And so there's a really careful balance that has to be struck with this system.
Yeah, it's someone just brought up, it's similar to like the Overwatch system in CSGO.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Overwatch is that the ban gets put in, and once that happens, there's no going back, and you can't see why they were banned. So it's similar. It's similar to TF2 BD and other things like the database. Like another thing I should clarify for those who aren't aware: the anti-cheat was conceived as a replacement for an existing database of cheaters that I published it because it was leaked, basically.
Yeah.
And although I stand by the marks on it, I recognize it's a flawed system. You know, there have been false positives, which whenever people report them to me, I take them seriously.
I mean, there's false positives everywhere, right? It's never going to be 100%.
Well, you know, but the approach I'm taking is flawed because it's basically just accusations, and, you know, when people start treating accusations as fact, things can get out of hand quite quickly.
True.
So, and so I conceived I was thinking about, okay, we've got a database, but it's just accusations. We need to back it up with evidence somehow. And I was still thinking of it as like a database. I wasn't thinking of it as a fully fledged anti-cheat. It's like, okay, we need a way for people to like submit evidence or something. But, you know, doing that, who's going to bother doing that manually? Like, very few people. It's not going to be effective.
Yeah.
And also dealing with video files, that's going to get that's gonna be difficult to handle because that requires a lot of bandwidth and storage. And then I thought about demo recordings because they're way more space efficient. And then that was the eureka moment when I realized the demos were, well, hang on, that there's data in here that computers can process automatically, and that's when it switched from a database to a full-on anti-cheat.
Yep, there you go. Very cool shit, man. Very cool shit. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I appreciate what Megascatter's doing here, and I hope he keeps going, and I hope you're not deterred by all the shit that you get constantly. All I gotta say is keep it up, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thankful to all the people who have helped out, because it's not just me. There's lots of other people who are much smarter than I am who have been helping out with the project, so... Yeah, we'll just see how it goes.
I hope it goes
whether
well,
it works
man.
or not, whether it works or not, only time will tell, but, you know, if we don't try anything, nothing will happen.
There you go.
I'll see you, hopefully, see you guys in my next upload. Hopefully it will happen within the next few months.
So I apologize for looking down as I was checking a message on my phone. But yeah, man, hopefully you get more good work out there soon.
Yeah, good luck, man.
Yeah, you too. See you later. Mega Scatter Bomb. Everybody. Do I bring the weird cheater? I'm being warned to not do it. I'm being warned that he's majorly unhinged from an anonymous benefactor telling me to not bring him in. Oh, it's tempting, but we've been on such a good streak. I mean, I could let these people speak for themselves. I could let them speak for themselves. I'm seeing a mix between yes and no. Debate him. I don't think there's no convincing. Fuck it. There's no convincing someone to do otherwise, you know. And if he gets off his rocker, I can just as easily disconnect him.
Hello, Mr. Jesse. It is an honor to speak with you. For the anonymous guy that said I'm unhinged, no, I am not. Anyway, so assuming we're just gonna piggyback off of Mega Scatter's, you know, whole anti-cheat, I think it's a great thing. Fuck the cheaters as well. And I'm a former cheater myself. But the thing is, right?
They say you're a current one. Is that true? That you still do cheat?
No, former. You can hit Mr. Kinky Avocado up, and he'll.
I don't know, man. I think it's. I always hear people say former cheater, and they're not. They still do it. You say it. I don't know if I trust it.
It's fine. I already ruined my reputation enough. But hey, the thing is with Mega Scatter's anti-cheat, I think it's a great thing. The problem is, it can all be nullified if they 6-stack. So let's say if there's a 6-stack of cheaters or bots. They are the majority, regardless. And even if the whole lobby itself had Mega Scatter anti-cheat, it would not work because they wouldn't be able to kick. So effectively, the server is ruined. So,
well, true, and you did find a small flaw in the system, and because you were at the mercy of however matchmaking works, right? But for the instances where there's not a full 6-stack of bots, which isn't as often as you'd like to think, right? It's like most of the time when you get into a full server full of bots anyways, you're just going to leave. You're not going to bother. But if like a single cheater or a single bot makes its way in, then having that kind of system in place is exactly why it's there. It would immediately kind of just get rid of them, right? It would filter out the what's the word I'm looking for? The stragglers that aren't inside of a full stack, right? But yeah, something else would have to be done to deal with a full 6-stack of bots. But again, we're at the mercy of the fucking shitty matchmaking system that Valve put in this goddamn game. So
no, it is pretty shitty. It is pretty shitty.
But yeah, from my experience, I haven't touched casual in months because I just don't want to bother with it because it's fucking horrible.
Listen, even if the anti-cheat is perfect and you have 1,000 people playing, you have a bunch of free-to-plays and everyone that won't use it. And sorry to break it to a lot of the TF2 community, but Team Fortress 2 is dead. Like, it's dead in the water. It's only on life support. It's dead. It's gone. If you want to know the future of Team Fortress 2 within 5 years, look at Call of Duty on Steam. Black Ops 2. Try playing the servers right now.
The thing is, man, I think, well, I mean, I don't disagree that TF2 is effectively dead in the water. I really don't see Valve doing anything with the game in any serious capacity in any near future, right? I really don't see them like coming back to the game and handling it in a serious capacity. There is some small promising gleams of light with what they're doing with the 64-bit thing and what have you, but beyond that, they're not gonna go anything hard with TF2 in terms of like addressing like the actual source code and like fixing shit, right? They're just not going to do it. And yeah, I don't think we're gonna get like a huge update or any major attention towards the game. And I mean,
yeah, which is
and here's the thing, like if you need evidence of that, then just look at how the game's been handled since 2018. What's changed? Nothing has changed. Nothing's been different. The game has been
it's been abandoned. Yeah,
the game has been plagued with cheaters and bots. There's been maybe 1 or 2 people actively working on the game at any time, dumping in content updates, which is just cosmetics for people to buy, and uncurated selections of maps, most of them being shit. It's like, is it really surprising to anyone that one could consider the game dead, right? It's definitely dead in terms of dev support, no, but there are still a lot of people that play it, right? So you can't say it's dead in that regard.
But that's, you know, community servers and everything. I understand there's people like, oh, it's going to live forever because of the community. Yes, granted, but new people are unable to get in because of its current status. Like,
yeah, it is very hard for new people to get into the game because their first experience is going to be a lobby with cheaters and bots, right? And why would you stick around if your first 20 minutes of the game you've never tried before sucks and that's your experience, right? You wouldn't. You'd leave.
Yeah. And the cheating scene is only going to get worse. I mean, look at GTA Online, for example. You thought Team Fortress 2 was in a bad state. Imagine someone that despises you, like you kill him the wrong way, or he's in a bad mood. He could just crash your game right there and then. And that's the truth that a lot of PC players on GTA Online have to deal with. And then when it gets so dead that the majority of the people leave, you have a scene like, you know, Black Ops 2 Online. You can't play because there's always a cheater or a bot that auto-crash your game. It's unplayable, and that's the sad truth for Team Fortress 2. Like, yeah.
I mean, at least Valve has addressed some things like server crashes and those vulnerabilities. Thank God. But we have the luxury of Valve doing that, whereas other game devs don't. They just don't bother, right?
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but yeah, it sucks.
That's the modern, you know, formula for a game. It has a life expectancy of 10 years, and then the developers either shut it down, you know, in spirit, or actually shut it down and then move on to the next game. I wouldn't be surprised if Overwatch is going down the same trope, because you have a lot of cheaters and also Overwatch.
What are they gonna do in Overwatch? Like they released their sequel, and it's dead. There's like what 30,000 players right now via Steam. There's no one.
Well, hold on, that's Steam. That's not people who actually suckered up and got the actual launch. So we don't know the actual number.
Do they report actual player numbers for Overwatch anywhere?
Steam charts, yes, but for actual Overwatch, no, unless it's like a monthly statistic. Like
really?
Yeah. No, they're really private about it. Unless it's like, oh, we had 5 million players.
Yeah, then of course they'll have like a big announcement of like, oh yeah, we hit peak X amount of players, and we look greater than we actually do. So, interesting.
It's a darn shame. Team Fortress 2 will eventually become cheat or be cheated on, and
I don't think it's going to hit that stage, at least not for a long time, because we still have a lot of people that don't cheat that play the game, and a lot of them reside inside of community servers. Like, I still think we're okay in terms of a mostly not cheater versus not cheater experience for maybe 3 to 5 more years. But if the game doesn't experience any kind of serious support, which I don't think it ever will, then more people will keep leaving, and then that'll be curtains. But I think the crux that a lot of people don't acknowledge, that's what's really keeping the game alive right now, is the fact that it's free, and it's so easily accessible that some small percentage of those free players are going to find ways to play the game normally, or they're going to go out of their way, do their research, get into a community server, and that way normal players are still going to be sticking around, right? If the game wasn't free, it would have died a long time ago.
But you also have to ask the question, if it never went free to play and it always costed $5, would there be as many cheaters or bots as they were today? Because you have to spend, let's say, $5 to get into the game.
People still paid money to bypass the restrictions on new players for bots. People are dedicated. It doesn't matter. You could have made the game $20, $25 all the way until now. People would still spend the money to cheat. They don't care. Because cheats are a lucrative business, right? Especially for the people who develop them. You know this. You know they charge monthly fees or however they distribute their cheats. There's a shitload of money in this, and people don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's either monthly or they do lifetime, where they charge like 135, and people will pay it.
Yeah,
so
and people will just pay it again and buy a new account. They don't give a fuck. To them, it's just what's the word I'm looking for? Just disposable income, right? Not to say that there wouldn't be fewer cheaters, but there would still be quite a few. It wouldn't be that much of a difference, I suspect.
And the worst thing, because I was in this community, right? Pretty much all the bot hosters live off of the government money, so it's not.
Oh, I know. A lot of them are on meat bucks, dude. Which is even more pathetic. I love it.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. Mentally ill, and then they do this to the game. If mental asylums were still a thing, they would. Yes, your taxes pay for cheats and bot hosters. That's another sad truth, Mr. Rumblemango.
It's pretty bad, but
yeah.
Oh well. Hey, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna move on to the next guy. Thanks.
You're welcome. It was an honor talking to you. I'm not as deranged. If anything, that's just a whole act to make me, known and feared in the TF2 community.
Well, I don't know who you are. I've never seen you before, except for a couple of times inside my Discord, mouthing off. But like, it seemed like just normal, the normal amount of shit flinging you see on the internet. So I took no alarm to it. But
well, yeah, it's just me being half drunk and just going off most of my intrusive thoughts, like, oh, what if we took Team Fortress 2, the IP, and gave it to a studio like Turtle Rock that just want the money, or just say some unhinged stuff. But yeah, it was an honor talking with you. Thank you for having me. And yeah.
All right, take care, man. See ya.
Thanks, you too.
There you go. Former cheater. Interesting. I mean, yeah. If I resonate on a lot of similar points that he brought up. I'm working like I mentioned in my last stream, where I'm working on like a trilogy of videos, kind of outlining my ultimate and final thoughts on where the game is, where it's been, and where it's going. That's definitely one of the big ones, where I just don't see Valve doing anything with this game in any serious capacity ever again. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see. Who knows? We shall see. I'm getting a little burnt out. I'm gonna skip the queue and I'll bring in Rubber Mango to kind of close things out.
My brother, what's going on, man?
What's happening, man?
Nothing, just another day. I don't know how you guys started this earlier today. I mean, give me a little gist-all. How did you guys start? I mean, you guys kind of ended on like cheating and Valve's whole.
Oh, I mean, we started on completely different topics. This is just people coming in and just talking. So when the last two people, we've just shifted our focus on cheaters. So yeah,
just like an open forum. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I like to keep it on topic or stuff for just kind of like the purposes of the chat and stuff. But
yeah.
I got a couple points that I wanted to kind of just general kind of toss at, hot potato. And Monkey's in chat, so shout out to Monkey if he wants to join in, or if you want to do like a 3-man thing. But Monkey's super chill. But
yeah, he is. I mean, yeah, I can throw Monkey in here if he wants to request to speak.
What do you think, bro? I'm talking in a cool minute. But my point is, and I agree to this sentiment, I'm not sure how many people kind of get this through their heads, but like it's like you were saying, TF2 will never be dead in the sense of like no one's playing it, right? Because
yeah.
It's exactly the point you said. It's a free, accessible like thing. You can just, it's the first thing most people play when they play PC games, especially when they get on Steam. Because that's like the number one thing that Valve is gonna throw on you on their Steam platform, because the microtransactions is kind of like the underlying thing. But right. It is a very accessible and fun game. Obviously, the state is not great, but you're always gonna have like a trickling of new blood when it comes to this game. Like a lot of the people from like 2012, 2011, kind of that period of TF2 in its heyday are pretty much gone, man. Like they've moved on. And
a lot of them have, but I mean, I can pull my chat right now. How many of you started playing TF2 prior to 2016 and are still here?
Man, yeah, I feel old because like when the Uber update came out and like the Pyro update seemed like so hype when that came out. Remember that? We were waiting for Meet the Pyro.
Yeah, good. Yeah, like, a lot of my chat has been here since before 2000. Most of my chat has been here since before 2016. So
shout out to the OGs for the most part. If you guys are here after the Jungle Inferno, sorry, You didn't really experience TF2. In my opinion, you didn't.
No, I agree. You didn't. You experienced
really didn't.
you experienced the life support age that we've been in for a long time now.
You show them a picture of the puffin sting, and you're like, what does this do? And they're like, huh? They just don't know. They don't know, bro. They don't know that the escape plan. What was it called originally? It was just the escape plan.
Yeah, it's called the equalizer, and then they split it up into the equalizer and the escape plan.
You just had to run equalizer, bro. That's all you needed. Like that was the meta. No one used the whip and shit. But to my point, I suppose a lot of people, and I don't want to call them delusional because that's mean, but there's like a segment of like the TF2 fan base, and I think it's just the human condition where like things that you believe and that you have in your mind, you associate with your being. So when someone attacks something or criticizes something that you hold in your mind, you tangentially relate that as an attack on yourself. Right?
Oh,
so,
absolutely. I see that all the time.
Exactly. So like you criticize someone that they like, then all of a sudden it's like, well, fuck you, and they take it real personal. I think it's the same thing, obviously, with TF2, where it's like some people, for one reason or the other, I'm trying to be mean to them, but you talk about TF2 and it's blatant issues, and you're not even necessarily being like an asshole about it in any sense. Like, I mean, just people.
No, you're just being like, you're being literal, right? You're being truthful about the state the game is in. And I guess to finish your point, people get rabid and will just start gnashing teeth and throwing claws about, like, how dare you talk evil about this game? The game's fine. The game's gonna live forever. You're just a hater. It's like, whoa. No.
I've got my own, ideas as to why that it is like that. I mean, it's multiple things, right? Whatever.
I think you hit on the point right away. Is that if people who are very invested in something, be it a game or a hobby more generally, or a person, or something that they enjoy, if someone approaches that and says, I don't like this thing, they take that as an affront on their person because they associate that with their person and their personality, so they're going to defend it.
Well, TF2 is no longer just a game; it's a social hub. Like it's kind of like I never played Roblox as a kid, but like for a lot of people, Roblox became like a social thing where it's like you start off gaming, and then you meet people and you make friends. Like obviously this is like kiddie shit for them, but like TF2 is no longer just, hey, let's play the game. It's like, what is your identity? What hats do you wear? You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Do you want to make content? Because now everybody can just get a copy of OBS and record their screen. Anybody can do it now, So it's like you have the opportunity to create a quote unquote persona, with your loadout and deem it as you, and people will recognize you like, oh, that's such and such person. That's their loadout,
Yep.
And then you kind of start getting this weird like online avatar thing where like, this is me. This is my name online. This is what I do. This is what I look like. And it's very easy for those people who don't have the social skills and didn't make those friends in the real, and this isn't a dig on people, right?
No, yeah.
Some people only have that, and they kind of attach their social life. I see literally me.
No, yeah. Some people's entire social being is in a video game, and the people that orbit that game. Yeah, and I know some of them,
And it kind of sucks to see it because some of those people, so Beard and I, we always joke about how it's like a bug in a mason jar,
Yeah.
And like the outrage only reaches from within the mason jar, so you can shake the mason jar, and it's like they make a lot of stink in the jar, but you can literally just walk away from that jar, and you're literally fine, like it doesn't matter.
No, yeah, I mean, I that's exactly what I experienced as well. You just turn your back on it; it's like it's not even there.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It literally does not matter. And we're going through that now, but. To the bigger point, I suppose I was saying, the game will never be dead because people. Thanks for the analogy thumbs up, guys, in the Discord chat. But the point is, like, this game, a lot of the original people who really loved the game for what it truly was mechanically and to an extent, like culturally, are gone. And you're getting sort of like the vapors of what that used to be, like a reduced, boiled down, like essence of what that love was.
No, yeah, because that's all that's left, right? It's like there's like traces of what the game used to be back then, and then you have these newer people coming in that are kind of like grasping at it, but don't get the full picture. So they're gonna be repeating the same ideas, and they can go back and watch videos that were in that time, right? And they're gonna parrot that. They're gonna repeat it.
All you can do is emulate, man. Like, how many times have you guys seen a video reviewing weapons, like in 2023 alone?
Yeah, I mean, Dane just put out, like, Shonik just wrote a video for Dane, and he put it out like 2 days ago, right? About a weapon, and there you go.
Yeah, all you got to do is give it a new coat of paint and slap it on. You're like, hey, this looks different and unique. Give it an interesting thumbnail.
Yeah, but then like, ultimately, what are you learning? You're not being fed anything new. It's all things you already understood. It's
comfort. It's
comfort.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people, it's such a weird thing with like, TF2 out of any game is a case study, man, for these people. It is crazy. Like, you can make like a vaccinator review like every 6 months, and people will like watch it. You know what I mean? People will watch it and they will comment something unique, and it just keeps going. And like, I understand that a lot of people that start YouTube can come off of video games, especially something like TF2, and you learn how to edit and you learn how to write things and you learn how to concisely make a point. Essay writing, but you actually want to do it, you know, something you're supposed to learn in school.
Yeah.
But when you're passionate about it, you learn to do it.
Yeah.
And like, it's more of a practice for these people to kind of like make their own content based on something that already exists. It's like when a teacher asks you to write like, you know, an essay on what's that book about the pigs, Animal Farm, right?
Yeah.
Everyone and their grandma's like written an essay on either one or like, you know, of Mice and Men or something like that. But the whole idea is that you're getting the building blocks off of it. So I don't really knock it too much.
Right.
But dude, like, I don't see how, as an avid, more than single cell like brained organism, you can see YouTube videos of the same game for like a decade.
Well, here's the thing, right? It's not
bored.
the same people watching these videos. It's a generational thing where you have, you know, a video about this weapon that appeals to the current wave of TF2 fans that eventually move on, because like the rate at which this game chews people up and spits it out is a lot faster than people give it credit for, right? Where you have new waves of players always coming in and looking for content, and so a video about the short circuit 6 years ago is not going to be different than what it is now. But because we have that previous generation of players consume that video, they're not interested in the new one. They're not going to watch it. But then we have a whole new generation of players like, oh yeah, what's this? And then they watch it, right? They're not going to go back and look at the old video. They're going to watch the new one. And that's why you can sustain videos about the same topics over and over and over again. So, also, I should clarify, Shonik didn't literally write the video for Dane. That was a joke. Like, I mean, he did some of the graphics for him. I mean, that's like, and he said in the description of the video that Shonik did some of the graphics for him. And it very much read like a Shonik video, and Dane probably like asked him, hey, why does the short circuit do this? And then he just kind of reiterated what Shonik told him. So that's why I said Shonik wrote a video for Dane and then he put it on his channel. So
yeah, whatever. I mean, then again, you're still making a recycled video for all intents and purposes. So like, really, you know, what the hell?
No, yeah, but to that point, right? It's like, and then the things that people focus on now, right, is that video was about a very niche mechanic that no one's ever heard of, that is hyper situational. It only happens because of buggy map geometry in TF2, right?
And
like,
that's interesting, for sure.
It's interesting, but it's these really hyper narrow focal points, right, that have no broader or interesting impact on the game, except for those that like go out of the way and experiment a couple times and go, oh, that was interesting, and then just don't ever really do it again, right? I saw a video, I didn't watch the video, but it was like a video about like something on Upward where it was like just the stairs out, like just outside of the second point, right? Like then how they interact or something like that. Like I assume that entire video was just about a fucking staircase, right? And so, but like that's what we do now, because like that's all we have left. There's nothing new to make videos about. So like we look for newer and more narrow channels to go into. Otherwise, we're just repeating what's already been done. And that's why I stopped making videos about weapons, because it's like, what else am I bringing to the table? Nothing.
Yeah, it's like fucking Castaway. It's just fucking like, well, son, you're just painting a fucking volleyball. You're talking to the set of stairs. Like, what are you doing, dude?
No, yeah, but again, people can get away with it because we have this current generation of players that is oblivious to all the old content and the old videos about these things, and they go watch the YouTubers making videos about these things that are mostly just reiterating what's already been said for years.
And what makes me so sad tangentially with that, it's like not only do they consume it, but they almost like bite the hand that feeds them. Like TF2 YouTube, right? Like you have a couple of breakout videos and like someone earlier mentioned, like some of them get millions of views. Yeah, when like Lazy uploads, right? Because it's more of like we're excited, like the algorithm.
A really good example of this, to interrupt, sorry, but a really good example of that is El Maxo's videos about specific weapons, where he focuses on a specific weapon for a half-hour long video, right? Where he does like the X amount of kill challenge, but in reality, he's just kind of regurgitating talking points about the weapon that everyone already knows, with gameplay in the background, right?
It's like a "Here Comes the Airplane" thing. Here comes the airplane.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Here comes the plane, and they kind of spoon feed him. Baby. Yeah,
the same shit. No, you're totally right. And shout out to Monkey. Yeah, let's return to the renaissance of clip thumps, guys. But TF2 YouTube is a fucking glass ceiling, dude. There are people who start their like quote unquote like career, you want to say, on the internet, like YouTube, doing TF2, like my buddy Bearded, like we branch out to other stuff and it's like nothing. No one wants to see that shit. But
that's a
the moment
side
you
effect
post,
of being
like,
on the internet in general, is people kind of
It's
expect you to stay in your lane.
Yeah, you know, there's a couple of people who have branched out, like Whammo. Like people fucking hated him back in the day because like
now
very
he's
formulaic, and
fucking
he
internet
doesn't-
anarchist being a Sunny
like,
V2
no
clone.
one- Yeah, dude, he's fucking doing his thing. Like, granted, it's not like original, but he's making his bag, dude. He's like, he's doing it, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, he's increased. He's got like a wider audience. Like, I think what it is like it's like concentration. You know, the TF2 community is like a glass of water versus like a bathtub, which is just like the rest of YouTube. But that fucking glass of water is just intense, dude, because they will nitpick everything about the videos, about what you say online anywhere else.
Because that's
you
all
know?
we have left.
It's all they have.
That's
man.
all we
It's
have
just, like,
left.
Drama is all they have left. Drama and the same weapons and the same videos, and it's like,
And the same topics, and then
why
and
would
just
you want to stick around? You know, like, no offense to them. Like, we had like a big issue recently, like in the last couple of months, where like there was some old drama that like Beard was dealing with, and it was already like resolved years before, and like the person brought it back up for like out of the blue, right?
Yeah.
And like I stuck up for him. I was like, "Fuck you guys! This is something that happened before, which you don't even know what really happened." You know,
your first
And-
mistake was taking to Twitter.
First mistake, yeah.
Your first
You know,
mistake
and I
was acknowledging Twitter's existence.
I was like, "Fuck you guys! You guys are assholes." You know, and they're like, "I can't believe you would say that about this and that." And then it's like, you know, it's like a game of telephone. I was in a server like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And someone like said something along the lines of like Mango is part of like the groomer squad, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh,
When did
I
we
get
to
I get
that?
those now too. I get those now
Yeah,
too because of an off-color joke I made with a crying emoji. So,
Yeah, there was one instance where like somebody posted like a gore video of like a cat, you know, like
Oh, it's
being
horrible.
grilled. Horrible, right? And I had to delete it because I'm like I'm admin in Beard server. I was like, guys, please don't fucking post that kind of shit. Like, we all like to laugh and shit, but like, dude, like, what the hell's wrong with you? 2 days later, I'm hearing down the grapevine that I posted it. I'm like, what?
Dude, that's
what?
just the internet, and
You
you're,
know what I
you're,
mean?
you're oh, and you're. I mean, I deal with that shit too, right? It's like,
Yeah,
like
dude.
there
Well,
was yeah. So for example, Mega Scatterbomb reached out to me, you know, because of all the shit he was hearing about me, and he just like asked me directly, "Hey, is this true?" And I clarified it for him, and I said, "No." For example, there is
all you have to
there
do.
is a workshopper who keeps claiming that I made fun of his dead cat. Which never happened. Never once have I insulted this man for his deceased pet. Period. But this guy keeps making the claim on Twitter that I made fun of his dead cat, and then a bunch of other just blatant lies that
being a victim pays.
Oh yeah, being
gets 5
especially on
minutes.
Twitter, being a victim pays, right? But
Get your 5 minutes of fame, man.
yeah,
Definitely,
but Mega Scatter reached out and said, "Hey, is this true?" And then of course I immediately refuted it because I have receipts. Where
Yeah, this is
you can
ridiculous.
go back and look at everything I've said and done. The only time I've mentioned like dead pets in TF2 is that I think it's inappropriate to immortalize your dead pet in a video game. Like I don't think it means everything to you and nothing to everyone else. I just don't
Yeah,
think
you're
it's okay.
opening yourself up for like being shot at. You know what I mean? Like you should never share stuff like that on the internet with strangers because they're gonna take pot shots, man. That's like rule number 1.
Yeah,
You
and
don't-
for
you
example,
don't share.
this guy is catching shit from some schizos that are making fun of him, but then he like decided to project that onto me.
It's Zesty's fault. He sent them to me.
Yeah,
Like, what the fuck are you talking
apparently
about?
it's my
Yeah.
fault now. Yeah, it's so
According to Twitter, there's like an ethereal like hate cloud that just kind of goes wherever you point, like a fucking swarm of locusts. I'm like,
yeah, that's what they think.
And shout out to him, by the way, for reaching out to you, because that's literally all you have to do.
Yeah, and
You
no
know,
one
I-
does. I shouldn't say no one,
um,
but very few people do. People
how
just
many-
take whatever
how
they see at
many-
face value and run.
Yeah, how many of you guys are in chat and you as well are aware of like Man Magazine, for example, right? I guess I'll break some news there. You guys are aware of that?
I think yeah, any person who is involved with TF2 Twitter knows what Man Magazine is.
Yeah. So they're redacting and editing the because I was on a cover of an edition. They did an interview with me. I was like the main I guess the face of one of those, and they're going to be editing it and redacting it, right? And I heard from a friend of mine who used to work with them. I won't get into details about that, but all I can say is like, you know, they're making some decision behind closed doors, and like not one of these people had ever reached out like, hey, we've been hearing some things. What's going on?
No, yeah, they did the same thing with me. They absorbed
to do, man.
they absorbed the Swishcast TF2 YouTube podcast channel. They absorbed their channel and they unlisted their podcast with me because they want to go squeaky clean so they can be acceptable for Man Magazine.
Well, it's just because one person kicks a shit fit and they just assume that it's everybody. It's like, no, just ignore the person kicking a shit fit, you know? Like, what the hell ever. If they don't like it, they don't have to watch. You know
Well, no,
what
the
I
thing
mean?
is, they have to keep appealing to their major audience, which is mostly people who do reside on Twitter. And if they side with the people that they dislike, then of course it's going to be bad for their brand. So naturally, they have to go back and scrub all of their misdeeds by interacting with these people from their history. So,
well, the same thing that happened with that one charity event, Seasonal Lander, a couple of months ago.
I'm not
where,
familiar.
It's just some small charity. I think they actually got a community post on the main TF2 page. Oh, my cat's here. Hey, Mary. Hold on 1 second. Y'all want to hear Mary? Hey, Mary. Say hi, Mary. Yeah.
On demand.
Yeah, she's cute. If you just kind of tickle her butt, she meows a little bit. But, you know, it's one of those things where it's like people would rather not reach out, you know, and one thing I've been doing, and I think should be a core staple, not just in online, but like your life, is to just be direct with people and be forward, you know, like I'm not confrontational, but I'll come at you and ask you a question if it's an important question. You know what I mean? And most of the people that will behave in this way, tickle her butt, Captain, is what I mean. When you ask to tickle her what? When you're straight up with them, they freeze up because they're not used to the consequences of misbehaving socially, you know?
Yeah.
You got €5 from Arthur E, by the way. Shout out to Arthur E.
Yeah, an addendum on he says, not just immortalize your pets in a game, but put a price tag on them when you make workshop items. It's with the intent of getting paid. Yeah, which...
Wait, no way, what?
What?
Oh, is that what you meant? I thought you meant like using a name tag, like on an item.
This guy makes workshop items, and he's made several featuring his deceased pets.
Oh no, that's god.
Yeah,
okay.
I
thought it was
name tag. No, I mean him literally making models for cosmetics of his cat and trying to get them in the game.
I definitely wouldn't do that myself. That's for sure.
I disagree with it. I don't think it's appropriate.
Yeah, it's a little. I mean, do what you want, but again, like, don't be surprised when you get shit flung at you, and it's not.
Or not even shit. Just people saying, no, this isn't a good thing. Not like I was never mean about it. Like, but he's like painted me as this demon for like wagging my finger and like making fun of his cat.
He loves that your animal's dead. It's like, what the fuck? I don't know. People are so.
Some people said that. It's fucked up.
You know. But here's the greater point that I was trying to ask for that, because you had a video about the hot takes, you know, when you're taking people's tweets and stuff. And,
yeah.
Also, big shout out to you for being interactive with the community, because being interactive with the community is very positive for those people, keeps people around, you know, makes them feel heard. So
and to my point, like I said at the beginning, it kind of reminds people that we're all human. Like we don't have this barrier, right? Like we're not on this pedestal up above. Like we control you. You obey me and listen to what I have to say. No,
this week's meta is the crossbow. You know, like it's such a weird thing where it's like they take words as like holy scripture from some people. You know, it's super weird.
It is.
I've always tried to be very open in my forum, and so is Beard. Like, hey, just hit us up if you need something. Like, we're just people. Like, we all go to the bathroom. We all have like problems in life. We're just people. You know what I mean? Just because my pixels are bigger than your pixels mean anything.
No, exactly. Yeah, and my DMs on at least Discord are always open. I don't use Twitter anymore, so you can't contact me there. But DM's open.
But to the greater point is, I know that we talk a lot about like these weird aspects of like TF2. How much of that do you think it makes up the community, and how much of the silent community is
very, very small. Well,
yeah.
Okay, let me rephrase.
Isn't like that. They just play the game, shit talk and leave,
so
right?
Definitely a majority of people just don't involve themselves in the social spheres of TF2 at all. Like all of the vocal spheres are a very small minority of people who play this game.
They're the ones that are like attached to the game, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's them.
Yeah, it's definitely not a representative majority by any means. And a lot of and also like to a further extent, like on Twitter, you have a lot of people that interact with TF2 posts that don't actively engage or play the game. They might have played it a few times. They're familiar with the game, and then they see something funny on Twitter, and then they like it and retweet it or leave a comment. But that's not truly representative of the people who actively engage with TF2.
Yeah, because one of my questions about all that was like, does this community even deserve, quote unquote, to have this game continue to be developed? And
no, we don't deserve anything.
You know what I mean? Like they don't. And
that's entitlement. Like we don't deserve to have new stuff, but we deserve a functioning game so long as it's offered as a playable functioning game. Beyond that, we don't deserve anything else.
that's just standard. That's like baseline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that you if you have a product, it should work first and foremost.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But like, you know, some people are like outraged that like Valve isn't adding, you know, like brand new mechanics and new weapons, and it's like you're just not gonna get that. Aside from just the actual spaghetti code itself that makes it so difficult. You know.
No, yeah, we're not owed new experiences in the game, right? It's however Valve wants to handle their IP in terms of new content and new experiences, and beyond the game's functionality, we're not entitled to anything. I don't think.
You know, I feel like the way that this game should have quote unquote ended is that you would have had, in my mind, right? Like, because realistically, this can't go on forever, right? I think
of course not.
Yeah, whatever, right? You can't just. I mean, it's cool to pass the game on to people and they can discover it as they go, right? That's super cool. How many of you guys show a vote in the chat? Have you read the comics, for example?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. How many of you like read the comics? And
you guys, yeah, like how many of you guys know that like that the soldier has killed Tom Jones at least twice in the comics?
You're gonna get an overwhelming number of yeses.
Okay, thank God, because your community seems very smart and handsome, and you guys are so awesome. You guys are great. You should stick around for a long time. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, they got an overwhelming number of yeses.
A lot of people like haven't read the comics, you know, and it's like there's like canon lore that extends the game, because most people don't even know like when it comes to lore. You know, well, this and that. I think the comics are canon, right? When it comes, or unless okay. So from what I understand, according to the catch-up comic, this is just like a tangential thing or a sidetrack. The TF2 video game is a documentary video game based on the true wars that happened between Red and Blue that are cataloged. I'm not sure if it's within the comics or outside of it, because they don't address Blue Team in the comic. Yeah, they do. Yes, they do.
Do they? I don't remember. Yeah, I haven't read them in a very long time.
The Blue Engineers are the ones that's helping. What's her face? The administrator. She's the one. Yeah. And there's Redman and Blue Tark, so there has to be a Blue Team, so there has to be Blue Mercs. So. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So then the TF2 video game is not canon. It is a documentary video game based on the canon events of the comic.
See, for me, it's the reverse. The game is what's canon, and then the comics came second and started like adding a bit more life and fleshing out the game. And initially, the comics were shipped with new products, right? They were shipped with updates, right? And to kind of like explain, like, hey, this is why we're putting this in the game, and then they over time started expanding more and more into kind of like this own spin-off thing from the game. I really don't think that we should let what happens in the TF2 comics be definitive of the lore. We should let the game be definitive of the lore, and then have everything else kind of fall out of that.
Because I think the comics do literally state that TF2, the video game, is a documentary video game. I'm not sure if you guys want to take that at face value, but
I wouldn't, especially because like the comics were written by so few people who didn't even like actually work on the game. They were just artists and story writers and what have you. Not to degrade the quality and the enjoyment of the comics and what have you. They're great. But there is a very like if you read the comics and then play the game, very huge disconnect from like the experience. Like if you read the comics and have never played the game, your expectations of what TF2 is would be wildly different than what you're given, right?
The heavy in the comics is not the heavy in the video game by any.
Absolutely not.
That's because it's at post development. They're like, hey, the heavy is really smart, and it's like you really
heavy's actually really smart, and the soldier's fucking retarded. It's like I hate like, that. Ugh.
But to the wider extent of that is the way I imagine this game ending. Is, you know, I think it all really went downhill, like definitively meet your match.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Overwatch killed TF2 because Overwatch scared Valve enough to do so much to TF2 that it effectively put it in the state that it's in now.
No, yeah, I agree.
Overwatch killed TF2, absolutely. It totally did.
Inadvertently, it did by scaring Valve into wanting to compete with the rise of competitive matchmaking games.
Overwatch shot themselves in the head, and then TF2 had a panic attack, and then went schizo watching them shoot themselves in the head.
Yeah, it's actually a very good way to describe it.
They blew their heads off, and TF2 went, and they just kind of got locked up in a padded room, and that's it.
Perhaps we should say in a more general sense, the rising of matchmaking games and competitive matchmaking games is what made Valve step forward with their changes, and Overwatch kind of spearheading that, right?
Yes, casual competitive and stuff like that across the board for all video games, I think for sure. But
yeah, because here's the thing, right? Because Valve started working on Meet Your Match in 2014. We don't know the true catalyst, right? Because Overwatch was also announced in 2014, but they also said they started working on it in 2014, right? You can't just say, "Oh, here comes Overwatch, therefore competitive, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
Valve absolutely saw the successes of CSGO and how huge that competitive scene got in such a short period of time that they started trying to incorporate that type of success into their other IPs. And they tried to make that happen for TF2.
Skins, shit like that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, that was the entirety of the Gunmetal and Tough Break updates, is they were copying CSGO's operation system 1-for-1 into TF2, right?
Yep.
So they've always taken what is successful in their other games and put it in their other games. It's no different with competitive matchmaking, because if you look at TF2's matchmaking and CS:GO's matchmaking, they're effectively 1-for-1 copies, right? They used an existing game coordinator within the game, TF2's being Meet Your Match and CS:GO's being the original casual matchmaking system, which was then updated to have the competitive one, right? Both of them have smaller team sizes, limited map rotation, and that's it.
It's min-maxing, man. Minimize that crew, maximize the profits. Try to automate everything, but in turn, you're just shooting yourself in the foot because you're relying way too much on it. It's just all fucked up.
Yeah. So,
of course, we should demand more and better from Valve. But dude, they're like, what are they worth? Like billions? They don't give a fuck.
Oh yeah, they earn like, so just from CS:GO alone, just from CS:GO's key sales alone, $2 billion a year.
Yeah, it's over. Guys, I hate to say this, but it's unequivocally over. TF2's not coming back. They have so much fucking money, they don't care.
No, the only reason why they would focus on TF2 again is someone's pet project. Yeah, someone's passion project, pet project. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not planning on hiring anybody who wants to fix TF2 because they don't need to, because they don't care. And why waste the money when Valve can just keep
at least not specifically for TF2, because we have Joshi in there who's hired to do stuff for the Steam Deck, who's also being allowed to work on TF2 stuff.
Now, the way this game should have ended, like, it should have been Meet Your Match, whatever. I would have, as hard as it would have been to roll back the system of matchmaking, they should have rolled it back, because pre that, you could find multiple servers for the same map full of players. If you got on TF2 and you told yourself, I want to play Nucleus today, there was at least 3 Nucleus servers you could jump on.
Yeah.
Now it's like, let's queue up. Oh, look, it's Badwater. Oh, look, it's Upward.
And then if you just queue for Nucleus, you're going to get put in a half-empty server.
Yeah, and they're going to have cheaters. And it's like, it totally ruined the experience for the casual player. The server browser was antiquated, but it fucking worked. It worked just fine.
I did a brief version of this rant in my hot takes video about why a matchmaking system is inappropriate for a game like TF2, and it's just an inherent mismatch for how the game is meant to function. It's meant to be a jump in, jump out whenever you want, do as you want, and not have a game coordinator try to put you into a balanced game, right? It's just not how the game was meant to be done. So trying to shoehorn and funnel all the players down the same slide, so to speak, and have them end up in the same pit of rocks is going to slow everything down. It's going to slow down the rate at which people get in their games, at which they complete them and then move on and kind of keep the cycle going, which is what TF2 was not meant to be for. TF2 was meant to, like, you join a server and then you stay in that server, have it reset, and then stick around, right? But with the matchmaking system, they completely threw that out the window.
Yeah, it fucking sucks, man. It's like, how would you like it if you were like in elementary school, and it was recess, right? And instead of running out to the playground and playing like ball for like 10 minutes and then like playing tetherball for like 20 minutes, your teacher's like, all right, kids, this week you have to pick one activity. That's all you get to do.
I think more to that, it's not playing with the same people and not getting a similar and joyful I guess, experience with those same people and kind of a similar environment, because a lot of the way, because TF2 was originally only community servers, right? And then Valve started making their own servers to kind of normalize the experience, which is fine. But then when you remove the element of people being able to continue going back to the communities they got used to and the people they enjoyed being around, that was the social murder of TF2 when Meet Your Match came out, right?
And everyone moves to Twitter and Discord because they have nowhere else to meet up besides in-game.
You're exactly right. And then those, or Tumblr.
Trade servers used to be Discord.
Yep. Yeah, trade servers in general used to be hangout spots. You would have idle servers where people would just chill, right? Or to just talk and hang out.
But you never knew who you'd meet there. It was kind of an open forum still, so there was still healthy,
Yeah, people new people would still trickle in and out, but you always had the regulars that would kind of keep the core of the server going and what have you, right? And you can still get that experience. Like, there's a couple of servers that I frequent that still have, a normal expected player base of 20 or 30 guys. But that's all gone with matchmaking, because you can't build little community, little sub communities anymore. The only way you get that now is with Discords and infighting.
Yeah, man, it's a shame. It's. I mean, obviously, we're starting to nip at a way bigger issue socially with just how people behave in general, which it leaks into every aspect of everything in life.
Yeah.
TF2 is just like a litmus test. You know, everything is connected to everything, so you can't just isolate this and be like, this is only in TF2. Like, no, this is just a wider for everybody everywhere.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But like, it's really difficult to find the incentive to like put in the work to make content, if not for yourself, for like a general audience.
Oh yeah.
Because there is just so many like landmines now, and I'm not talking about like you can't say certain words, because like of course that's pretty easy to dodge. Just don't say horrible things,
yeah.
right? It's not that hard to do, because people assume when you say something like don't step on landmines, they're like, huh, they just want to say horrible racial things.
Yeah, they just want to say the N-word. They just want to go beat up a minority.
Yeah, it's not what it is. It's like you can't criticize the game. You know, you can't look at a certain group of people and be like, this is wrong for them to think that. This is my opinion. You know, you can't have a negative thought on like cosmetics. You can't criticize content styles. You know, I know you're laughing because obviously, right? Like, it's so sterile to where like,
because that's what's successful, because controversy hurts growth, and people only want to get, I shouldn't say only, but the primary motivation for a lot of people on YouTube is just to grow an audience and get bigger and be a YouTuber, right? Whereas back in the day, older YouTube was about being you. Now it's about being a YouTuber.
Yeah, and there's very few people who do that, and let alone do it in TF2. Like, I can think of like maybe 2 people, like Germa, for example. It seems like his content is always something he wants to do, and he's having fun.
Yeah, because
he's also moved away from TF2, and he's succeeded. You know,
yeah,
what I mean?
Those are the ones that can break out of TF2. Very rarely, every now and again, you have someone who's just like Whammo's a piece of shit. No redeemable or entertaining qualities of his person whatsoever. Aggravating voice. He breaks out because he copied what other successful means of YouTubing, which is, you know, being a Sunny V2 clone. But the people who manage to break out of TF2 are the ones who have their personalities and you know, be at the forefront of what they do, right? And the ones that try to break out of TF2, who don't have that, like, have themselves established as their brand, right? Then they can't find success outside of TF2, because it's not what they've established themselves as. They've established themselves in TF2 rather than, you know, them first.
Their personality and stuff. To cut in just super quick, guys, Whammo did help me catch at least 2 groomers slash, you know, you know, can you say that word on YouTube? The P word?
I don't know. I don't care.
Pedophiles. He helped me catch 2 pedophiles, guys. So like, as much as you might not like his content, like in DMs and privately, like he's pretty chill. Like you know, he's cool.
Not to me. He's a 2-faced bastard that I hope gets hit by a truck. But
I respect and what's the word? Acknowledge your experience.
Yeah.
In my experience, you know what I mean? We don't have to hate each other over that. You know?
True.
Isn't that crazy, guys? What the hell?
Yeah, true.
What the fuck? But like, it's so crazy that like people are kind of stuck in the TF2 sphere, you know, and I feel bad for them. And
yeah, Big B, the fluffy redneck, made a very funny video, a very true video about TF2 and trying to, whenever they try to break out, they come crawling back because that's the only thing they have, right? Yeah. I recommend people watching it because it's like half satire, half or I should say like 15% satire, 85% very true when it comes to making content for not just about TF2, but for a lot of things, right? People kind of shoehorn themselves into one lane and can't get out.
He had a real hate boner for Joey for a cool minute. That was really weird.
I think he was just taking the piss. I think he was just taking the piss.
I don't know. It just seems super odd. It just seemed, yeah. Now you mentioned it, it was way too like edgy to be true.
We chit chat a little bit. We play games together sometimes. He's actually a really chill guy. He's nice.
Okay, cool. If he's just shit posting, then whatever. Then.
He does. Sometimes it's hard to tell when he's shit posting and being serious, but I think that's the point. I think that's the point. So
I got baited if that's the case, because I definitely had interaction with him before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where it's like, TF2 is a stagnant puddle. It's as if like your best friend was like hit by a truck and he's in a coma in the hospital and he's brain dead, and like they're not gonna pull the plug because he has a consistent blood transfusion, you know, and he has life support, and like without life support he's dead for sure.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
this new blood keeps coming in, and once that blood gets a feel for what's going on, like fuck this, and it leaves, you know what I mean? Like it's just the people, and see if you agree with me here. A lot of the people.
Hold on, someone actually brought up a very good point in my chat. If you can't make good content outside of TF2, your content was not good enough to bring new people in.
Ooh, that's true, totally true. Because TF2 is just kind of like an easy framework for you to build off of.
No, yeah, because people are going to watch it no matter what, no matter the quality, no matter who makes it, or it's so long as it is. I mean, like we've said, reiterating things either people are comfortable and familiar with or appealing to that new wave of players, people are going to eat it up.
Who said that? Who said that? You're a smart guy.
Boney Zoni said
that
this.
That guy rubbed his brain cells together.
No, and he's not wrong, right? I mean, I think that's indicative of how not truly entertaining you were if you can't successfully branch out into other things. It's not the end all and be all, right? Of course, if you only make TF2 videos and then suddenly do something else, right? That's going to throw a lot of people off and go, what the fuck? You only made TF2 videos and now you're making a video about, what's on my desk? Icebreakers chewing gum, right? Like
you're rating the top 5 burritos within a quarter mile? What the fuck?
Yeah, like what? iDubbbz? Right?
Experiment, you know, whatever. But like I think what people don't realize is that like YouTube in the early stages was about passion and fun and then the whole like high of views.
Broadcast yourself.
Yes, and then it became so mainstream to be number one and to be the biggest, and we got obsessed
TV.
with that shit.
It became TV.
Yeah, and it's like the most fun, and this is the tip I can give you guys, because like I mean, you could say I'm quote unquote successful, right, for YouTube, because like most people don't get like past 5,000, right, for the most part. I've got a couple of videos that like break like the half a, I got like 1 or 2 half million, whatever. It's not, whatever, right? What I'm saying is like the most important thing to understand about like YouTube is that if you're not doing it as a passion project and then you put it up and you're like, I'm satisfied with what I have made and I'm happy with it, then eventually you're gonna, you know,
it'll be miserable.
You're gonna hate it.
You'll be
Because like
miserable.
my channel started as like clip dumpy, and like everyone's does, right? Like, and I would clip dump not because I'm like, let's get views. It's because me and my friends from high school, when we were in high school, it's like, hey, dude, let's just start putting our clips together so we can watch them together, like at lunch or like after class, and just fucking laugh at shit and show people shit we've done. And then you just put together like a 20-minute just like clip dump of shit that's happening.
That's how I started. That's what I did too. After I got done with my courses in college, I'd come home and play TF2 with my friends and throw together a clip dump.
That was really fucking funny. Everyone has to see that shit. You know what I mean? And like every video, and people ask me like, how do you learn to edit? It's like all you have to do is keep editing. Because at one point you're gonna be like, how the fuck do I make this image rotate and move at the same time?
Yeah.
Guess what? You got YouTube, motherfucker. Look it up.
Yep, there is a YouTube video or, you know, help page on literally everything that you want to do for editing.
Everything. Yeah, like how to get plugins, how to use those plugins, how to make certain visual effects pull off, different tips and stuff.
Yep.
And then eventually you just learn. You don't just study like a class. This isn't a textbook. This isn't a class.
No, it's a skill. It's a skill that you gradually build upon and get better at it over time.
Do it. Exactly. You just do it. So anybody who thinks they can start a YouTube channel, if you here's the big thing, and tell me if you agree with this. I hate when someone starts a channel and they've already got a personality, they've got a name, they've got a brand, they've got a Discord, a Twitter, you know, all these things, but it's like the content isn't even there.
No, they haven't established themselves yet.
You're so focused on making your personality and being like somebody that can be famous.
Well, no,
you know,
yeah, no, it's more of the latter. They want to be
Yeah.
famous. They want to be the marketable product. Right?
Yeah, and
because
it's like,
that's
this is
because
my
they
aura.
get stars in their eyes, or because it's the easiest path to stardom now and to get the attention, right? When it really should
Harry
be the
Baxter
other way
said it.
around.
Harry Baxter said it, because they want to be content creators but not make the content.
Yes.
That's exactly right. Because you want to have the personality. You want people to be like, oh, is that such and such in the server? And you're like, yeah, it's me, dude. It's like, what's wrong with you, man? And it's like, it's this obsession of like, I want to be famous.
Well, I mean, it's everyone wants their 5 minutes and they see YouTube as a means to get it, so.
And that is such a horrible thing, you know. It's like, you know, when you see those Taylor Swift girls at a concert and they're like, you'll never find a girl like me again. That's you people, but in reverse. You know, and I'm not saying the chat, but I mean like the general TF2 specifically, like, you know, a couple games too, like you said. But you know, they have their loadout. They have like, they get a decent mic. They record their shit. They get a couple of PNGs of their character blue screen through SFM.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, you know what I mean?
They're the new hot shit. Yeah.
Why doesn't he have 10,000 subs? And then like 6 months later, not recommended, because it's the same shit, dude. It's the blood transfusion of the same
No,
shit.
yeah, you're absolutely right.
That's
I
all it
can't
is.
tell you how many people have, you know, tried to do the working formula that was established back in, what, 2014-ish? Was the whole, you know, TF2 loadout. You know, you're this e-celeb by having a specific loadout. That's how people recognize you. So many people have gone through that same cookie-cutter formula and have failed because they don't have, and the whole thing of setting up the personality before making the content, and they flop and fail.
Yeah, you know, and it's like, if you don't focus on having fun and putting shit out and doing what you love and being happy with what you make, then you're never gonna find quote-unquote success, you know? Because how are you, the problem is people aren't even defining success the right way. what is success to you?
For a lot of people, it's money. For a lot of people, it's fame.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, Zod, if you feel attacked. I apologize for anybody out there, but this is something some people have to hear. Look in the mirror, man. You know, what matters more right now? Doing this or getting good grades in your classes?
Yeah.
I put away everything online for a couple of months, and I finished my like undergrad chem class with like a 98% because I had like no social life. I don't have time for this shit. I
Focus
don't
on
care.
priorities, maybe.
Shit. You know what I mean? Like you cultivate things in life, and I'm not saying like it's not cool to have like an online personality. By all means, like this is a new wave of like culture. Have fun, put your shit out there.
Yeah.
But if you're late on like a payment, or your like registration for your car is due in like a week and you still haven't done it, and you're uploading TF2 instead of like getting your registration paid,
getting your shit together.
What the fuck are you doing, dude? You know, like wake up, man. Like get your shit together.
Yeah,
and
this
then
isn't life. Like this isn't going to be a replacement for success in the long term. This should always be viewed, for me, and this is what I've done. It's always viewed as a hobby. It's always viewed as something you do at the end of the day or during your day off or what have you, for fun, right? You don't make this the career, and I don't think anyone should ever make YouTube a career until it's like definitive and they have the shitloads of money flowing in and all their eggs not in one basket. To then, okay, maybe I can, you know.
If you can ride something and make enough money to like pay for a house, dude, you win. Fucking do it. Take the ad. Like, take the Raid Shadow Legend ads. You know, like do what you got to do. And then if you like quote unquote fall off 2 years later, dude, if you bought a house with that money, did you really fall off? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I mean, people also like, you know, save your money, stock up. Don't just spend it all. You know, be smart with your finances, and you'll be okay.
Take care of the people around you, man. Do good shit with it.
And yourself, right? And your own shit. And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't take care of their self and their own shit, and then they hit a wall and go, oh, why the fuck do I feel terrible? Why is my life falling apart? Because you didn't take care of your shit and you focused on things that are not important.
And it's really easy to slam dunk on people like that too, because it's like you can just see them as like neats. They're just at home doing nothing, you know, and this is all that matters to them, right? But like you have to, and this sounds like such like a condescending thing to say, but you got to have some empathy, right? Where it's like a lot of these people didn't choose this, right? They just ended up to being here because a lot of people are fucking sad.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially now.
They don't know why they're sad, but it's like because you're living an unhealthy, unhuman life, dude. This is not human, bro.
Oh yeah, and it's hard to make change, right? Making new habits, breaking old ones is immensely difficult.
And it's easy to make fun of people. You know what I mean? It's super easy to make fun of people. Don't get me wrong. We make fun of Twitter all the time because they're psychos.
Oh yeah, and that just circles back because it's easy. It's easy to maintain status quo. No one wants to put in the work to do anything. So
yeah, it's just. Man, this became like a life lesson. What the fuck? Sorry, kids.
It's just good conversation is all it is.
Yeah, your dad and your uncle are having this real fucking strange conversation. Sorry, kids.
Who's the uncle?
Like, I'm the uncle.
I'm the daddy. Oh, God.
You're the daddy. Or maybe I'm like second cousin. I don't
second
know.
cousin, twice removed.
You see him once every couple of years. But my point being is like, you know, value those people you meet online, right? Like take care of yourself, get things done that you need to get done.
Well, yeah, value your immediate circle, yourself, your family, your friends, right? And then all the extra stuff comes third, right?
Don't let it dissuade you from doing shit online. You know what I mean? Because like this isn't like because some people will take this message but also be like, you shouldn't have any fun in life. Fuck you. You know what I mean? It's like no, have fun, make your channel. But like, remember the objective, why you're doing it. Like when you have the time to do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like cultivate what makes you happy, guys.
Yeah. Don't come into this as if though you're gonna immediately succeed and this is gonna be your job because it won't.
Yeah, like, and like it's so easy to like all these conversations we've been having for years about TF2 and what's happening. Just throw your arms and go up and go like, who the fuck cares? It's a fucking video game.
The only people that care are the people who've been really hearing the same things for a long time now.
Yeah, man, it's rough for people that like this is a comfort for them, you know. I mean, there's people who like when their favorite like band breaks up or like their favorite show comes to an end, you have that weird void. I think it's similar to that where it's like some people they just want to come home and relax, and for them it's like I can't run amazing games. My friends all play TF2, so it's TF2.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
and for me, I'm so over it because we all branch out and other shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's easy to step away from it because like for a lot of us, I was gonna say something earlier, for a lot of us, like probably you and me the same, I don't really play TF2 as often, but you always come back eventually to play for a bit. You always come back, right? Like TF2 is one of those classic games where the gameplay is so
I'm still hopelessly addicted to this game. I still play a few times a week. It's just good.
Yeah, it's the game is built so well, you know, it's got such a charm to it. Like regardless of what's happening now, you can still see like your old friend through all the shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
still see him in there. He's still in there, and it's so sad because you're like, man, like I love you still, but it's just like it's not the same.
Nope.
It's not the same. I love you, I do. And sometimes you got to tell your friend, dude, clean your shit up, like fucking wash your shirt, shave, you know, clean your beard up,
Yeah.
something. And people take offense to that, but it's like when you love something or someone, you need to criticize it, man.
No,
Because
and
that
people
then
view
instills
and
growth.
there's so many people like that just cannot accept that. They view criticism as an attack and not a means to not a means to improvement, right? Like if no one ever tells you what you're doing wrong and only ever says good job, then you're not gonna develop and grow and get better, right?
Yeah, man, it's sad to see people that just, you know, like I used to play like every day, you know, but it's like eventually you move away, and like once
That's
every
life.
couple of months or weeks, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, man, you know what sounds really fucking fun right now? Setting sticky traps as a demo man and a choke point. That just sounds like no other game is gonna scratch that itch tonight. You know, and you just do it and you're like, fuck, this is awesome as shit. And then you're like, you're happy. That's it.
Yep.
You know, you don't have to like, and I think people think that like people like you and me and other people that criticize TF2, we're like, fuck this game, no one should play it. It's a bunch
No,
of
yeah,
shit.
people criticize people like us, like they say that we hate the game and that we want the game to die. No, we're pointing out these problems so the game can improve. If you never point out the problems, then they're just gonna keep stagnating. It's gonna rot, and that rot's gonna spread and then it's gonna get worse, right? You have to attack these problems at the root, otherwise they're never gonna go away. And if you never acknowledge them, the whole fucking house is gonna crumble.
We could turn back time to the good old days, guys. You know what I mean? Like,
and it just that irritates me to no end. Is people like being so reductive as to like writing up all criticism as like, oh, you just fucking hate what you're talking. You fucking hate it, want the game to die. I've never understood that. It's people
so
largely
rabid,
just doing this reductive arguing for the sake of getting clicks on Twitter, mostly for what I've seen.
Yeah,
it's very frustrating.
Shout out to you guys for being so receptive and thoughtful in chat. I've been reading some of the stuff too. You guys are very.
I mean, you'd be surprised how normal people can be when you talk, and I think people are afraid of doing that because they're afraid of like breaking down that facade, right? Because like there are a lot of, I know a lot of, and it's mostly not to be mean, but it is mostly like the Zoomer tubers, the new tubers, who have this mentality where they view themselves as higher up on that pedestal as like, you know, oh, I shouldn't be interacting with the peons and the laymen, right? It's like I need to be in my sphere and keep to myself, right?
Yep.
And it's always like, oh, I'm interacting with a fan. I'm interacting with someone who adores me. No, I'm interacting with another person.
Yeah, and it's like there are some people that get that like modicum of like being above someone socially, and man, they fucking, you know, take a mile from that inch. It's crazy. You know, and I've had people approach me in that way where it's like they're kind of they treat you differently, and that's like, dude, chill out. Like,
no, yeah, I have when I started doing this a few times, I have people who are like super nervous because like they're
I didn't know I'd get up here. Like, it's like, no, just like, how's your day?
Chill.
Like,
we're just having a
how was your day,
conversation.
bro? Yeah, what's on your mind? You know what I mean? That's that. We're all people.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know you're probably burnt to shit.
I was about to say I gotta start winding it down.
I know you're burnt. So guys, again, you know, it's very easy to take all of this frustration, especially when it's spat out at you, to throw it back. You know, like in my case, you know, there's rumors about me, about my friends. You know, there's people who want to dissociate, like projects that no longer want to like move forward with me. And like, it's very easy to just be angry and spit venom back. Not only because like, for the most part, it can be warranted, right? But because there's like a lack of respect that some people will have, you know, because everyone thinks it's funny up until it's your turn, you know, and then all of a sudden,
and again, it's easy just to kind of go with the flow, right? You go with the flow, and the moment you go against that flow, then they lump you in the same camp of the people they're trying to burn.
Oh yeah, no, I say retard all the time on Twitter.
I mean,
it's people are like, you can't say that. It's like, what, I can't say retard? I can't call you a retard? Like,
I mean, I say it too, you know? But just
whatever, dude. It's a fun, you know what I mean? Like, if I was like going out of my way to hunt you down and like saying these things to you, it's like, okay, that's crazy, right? But this is the internet. A lot of you people obviously didn't really like stick around when like you had to have thicker skin, you know, like you got called way worse things and you just moved on, you know. And I'm not saying like you should do that to people by any means. That's not what I'm saying.
No,
all I'm saying is like, you need to learn to like not let things cut so deep. You know what I mean? You need to understand what's important around you.
Well, in a time where people are encouraged and reinforced by letting things cut deep via social engagement on, you know, Twitter and what have you, then people will keep doing it. Instead of developing the thicker skin, they will play victim.
Oh, yeah, because it's more. I almost see like an enjoyment out of it, because also now
it's
everyone's
also
playing.
more socially profitable for themselves mentally, and for, you know, bringing themselves up amongst other people.
It's like the Pro Jared thing where everyone shit talked him, and then like he had receipts months later. Once it cooled down, it's like, oh, I guess we were wrong, guys. How could we have ever fallen for that?
Yeah, and then all the people who did the shit flinging to start with, they're never held responsible because.
Oh yeah, all of a sudden everyone was a supporter. It's like, what are you talking about? You know?
Yeah.
But moral of the story here, guys, is, you know, I don't want to get all sappy and shit, but, you know, there's things that are more important, guys. You know what I mean? Like we all fucking hate that there's cheaters, and, you know, we wish things were better for the game.
Way to bring it back.
Yeah, I mean, but like the whole, you know, just kind of shoehorn
to close the loop on this.
Yeah, it's part of the greater like modicum and like idea of like what TF2 is and what it means to people, and like why they're so upset about it, and why we're still talking about it, right? Because like, for any other person observing outside of this mason jar, they're like, what the fuck do they even care? You know, like it's just a game.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Every sphere like this is super compartmentalized, and from the outside looking in, they don't care nor have any idea what's going on.
Yeah, you know, but it you know,
it's all good. It's just
no, yeah. I've learned to not be very spiteful and angry, even though some people may like quote unquote deserve it. You know, I'm sorry about the mason jar comment, Lord Sicko. I just realized what I said.
I mean, likewise, I've learned to be less reactive to shit that I personally disagree with, and
one, for the backlash that you're gonna get anyways, no matter what, and two, because you'll have more inner peace when you really look to resolve things, which is why I move any issues I have into DMs. You know.
Oh yeah, instead of broadcasting them for the world to see, unless you start it.
Yeah, unless you start it.
Unless you start it, then we're gonna keep it where you started.
Oh yeah, I confront. I'm like, hey, if you want to bring things out, let me just bring things out too to clear the air, because like you started it, man. Let's just talk about it then. If you want to make it open, we can talk about it openly. But you know, take care of yourselves, guys. Take care of what's important. I know a couple of you guys probably have some quizzes or exams by the end of the week or next week. Sorry to ruin your vibe. Make sure you study, okay, guys?
Don't neglect your day-to-day responsibilities in general.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Thank God that the exams are over for some of you guys, but some of you guys still got shit to do. But you know, being receptive like that is super cool. If in the future you ever hear something about somebody, literally just ask them, and you'll find out for yourself within 10 seconds based on how they react, if anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the community is really chill here, man. Every time I'm here, they're super, super polite and positive. And
yeah, we're not the ravenous and rabid, you know, zestyites that go out and harass poor little innocent people.
This is the basket of deplorables, huh?
Yeah, this is
deplorables.
Yeah, this is all the horrible people that I lead the reins on, and it's go stampede and trot over everything. Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think that we have to find common ground with those around us that we may disagree with on major points, and I think most of us at least agree.
Try to find common ground, but then learn to cut off the people who will not extend their arm.
Yeah, exactly that.
It's just not. It's a waste of time.
No matter how, no matter how much you may like disagree with certain people, what they do, how they do it, and what they say, and I mean in this community specifically, as long as like everyone would hope to see TF2 do better, that's all that really matters. You know what I mean? Like we have different methods of approaching it, but like, you know, like hear someone's opinion out. Don't just call them a retard right away. You know, like really have a conversation with somebody. I know it's difficult to put words together and listen to words and then process those words and then respond to those words.
The art of conversation and nuance is dead thanks to social media, because these types of discussions are not encouraged unless you're into podcasts, of course. But even then, a lot of podcasts are nonsense. Not saying this thing that's been going on for 3 hours and 20 minutes and 20 seconds has not been utterly nonsense, but yeah.
I like to streamline it, you know, have like a nice little conversation usually, you know what I mean?
No, yeah, but I mean that was a joke, but like my point is,
I know.
Like my point is like the art of conversation is dead, because it's like people just it's not rewarded in any greater capacity anymore.
Yeah. Well, what are you about to snack on, man? You probably got a little munchie. Right?
I got leftover Turkish food from yesterday, so I got to go heat that up, and beer.
Shit.
So
here you go, guys. Everyone, make sure you grab a snack. It was nice chatting with everybody. Nice chatting with you as always, my dude.
Yeah, thanks for popping in, man.
Yeah, everyone stay positive. As easy it is to get like swept up in the hate and the anger, because like the internet feeds off of like emotions, and anger is definitely one of the ones
and rewards it.
Yep. You know, like as much as like you love videos of like someone rescuing a kitten, it's the same method as they, you know, feel anger, where it's like your emotion takes the best of you and that spurs you to behave.
Yep.
And it's a cascading effect. Be aware that nobody is immune to that sort of thing, like propaganda and like mass behavior.
No one is immune to propaganda. You are not immune to propaganda.
You are not immune, my brother. You know what I mean? And I would say, you know, before you speak, and this is something I learned too, think about what you're going to say.
Well, duh.
Really
Think before you act in general, right? Don't just open your mouth. Think about what's going to come out of there before you regret it.
Yeah, and this is for anybody who's going to listen, like, post, if anything at all. You know what I mean? I'm not sure these get archived or anything like that.
Yeah, this is going to stay up.
Everybody here seems to really, for the most part, have their marbles all organized. Shout out to you guys once again. I'm just glazing the chat. Y'all are cool. But, you know, just chill the fuck out, I guess, to really put it in really simple terms.
At the end of the day, chill out.
Chill out. So I'm about to get up and stretch and actually probably go on a walk. It's really nice outside right now. I've had
Yeah,
the day off.
I did that earlier. It was a beautiful day today.
I've been studying, and I saw you were up, and I was like, hey, let me hop in here real quick and maybe like boot up a little Battlefield 1 while I'm waiting, because Battlefield 1 is probably the best Battlefield out right now that's alive anyways.
There you go.
So yeah, shout out to you guys. Thanks for letting me pop in through here. And
yeah, thank you for engaging in very interesting conversation as always. Every time you're in here, it's very fun and very engaging.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'd love to come by anytime, whenever it's possible. I'm thinking I'm probably just gonna dip out of the TF2 community as a whole and just move on to something else. And I don't mean like just like, I guess you can call it a personality, right? For TF2, I might do things here and there, but like at this point, like I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to do things for me and not for like
do what feeds your soul.
Yeah, dude. But you know, I definitely don't want to lose any sort of like friendships or acquaintances that I've had along the way that matter to me, you know. So
no, yeah, and I don't think anyone should
like
ever hold it against someone for wanting to move on.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a big culling of like all the servers I'm in and people that I don't know that well. I might DM people, but like,
yeah,
I think the healthiest thing is just to downsize, guys, and just focus on what's important. But anyways, you're hungry, bro. You got your Turkish food, and I'm gonna go on a walk in just a second. So shout out to you guys. Thanks for the nice comments, bro. I don't think I can read that Johnny Douglas typed in the.
I would not.
I wouldn't. Either.
I would not. But
I mean, I would, but nah. But no, Keith, I appreciate you guys. Shout out, and if anyone ever tells you that I grilled a cat or that I do any sort of heinous things, it's probably not true. You can always hit me up, okay?
Don't take things on the internet at face value.
Yeah. Longest goodbye ever. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for having me. And
take care, man.
Guys, have a great end of the stream.
See ya.
See you guys.
Rubber Mango, everyone. Always a treat to have him stop by. Always fun. Well, that extended on longer than I thought, but it was fun. And I think that wraps up a very successful first episode of The Pit. My little open radio show where people can call in and we talk about whatever we want. It was a good time. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chilling. I might try to do this once a month, but we'll see. It's just whenever I'm in the mood. And today I was in the mood. Honestly, I had a really bad week. Oh my god. I had a rough start to the week where I was super exhausted, and I got some good work done on Tuesday, and then but yesterday was not a good day. It was just not. So today was a kind of a recovery from a shitty day, but onwards to tomorrow. But yeah, take care, guys. Thanks for I got a few donations today. Thanks for that. If you want notifications for when I go live, then join the Discord in the link in the description below. I post announcements for when I go live, when I post videos, or just other general tomfoolery, so hop in there. Other than that, take care of yourselves. I'll see y'all later.